I almost. Did you go to buy breakfast on the way home from the radio station?
Yes.
Well, thank you for offering. I had my. And by the way, I had a little peanut butter thing for breakfast, and I went to the store to buy my creamy Jif, and by mistake I picked up Crunchy.
Yes.
What a way to open the
if I bring it, do you want it?
Yeah,
Bring it to you?
Crunchy.
Okay, because I
it.
did use a little bit of it, but I haven't touched it. Just a knife. It's the only thing to touch. I did not. I don't do it. Nothing touch it but a knife.
What a way
to! If I touch anything involving food, he won't eat it, and for good reason.
Not just you. Anybody. I don't like.
What a way to open
my food.
What a way to open the show.
All right. Well, sorry.
That's rules to live by.
Hey, how you doing? Herp, look out! It's only me. It's only the camera. I forgot. It's Letterman as we speak. It's Letterman.
And if I say anything stupid today, I apologize because I've wrenched my back twice in the last 4 days, and it makes me all dizzy up here in the head.
Oh,
as if if I'm in the NFL, that would be the excuse.
Oh yeah.
It's not his head. It's not a concussion.
All of a sudden.
He hurt his back.
Well,
he doesn't know who he is or where he's at, and his hands are doing this.
Talk about. By the way, that's another reason I'm ticked off about the NFL. I didn't see the game. I can't watch the game. I'd forgotten Thursday Night Football's on. I would have known all about the Tua thing on the stretcher. We're going to talk about it.
And by the way, since it's on Amazon, they're getting better games. Oh, and by the way, ESPN attacked Amazon today.
The whole thing just makes me angry that I'm no longer a part of society, that they just ignore people like me and say, it's over. If you're not a high-tech guy to watch a game on your freaking phone,
you're not high-tech.
We don't care about you.
It's not high-tech. You are willfully deciding to be left behind.
Well,
everybody does streaming now. Everybody does streaming.
Thank you for your support.
You're like the guy who had the rabbit ears. I'm not getting a cable put in my house.
Oh, my God.
Some guy have to come in here and put a cable in my house.
I brought it up. I just went to the Comcast people.
You went to cable. You went to satellite. This is just one more step.
Oh, God. Anyway, that's Pete Davis, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. freaking grumpy Groucho shitbag.
At least I could watch the game last night.
Oh, wow.
Only the number one story in the country right now.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
You know why? It's 10:45. I'm usually not up at 10:45.
We're way early today. Flounder, and by the way, it's Flounder, mechanical mangler at the controls here at El Condo Flounder. Because there was a live remote this morning at the radio station, 106.3, which has a free app on your phone so you can hear it. And so we're doing this really early for whatever reason. And
so there's a playoff I'm going to the Mets game tonight. So I got to do
the Braves game.
The Braves game.
Brett's May. Jesus, I can't even talk. Braves versus Mets.
Your back hurting too?
Yeah. Anyway, so I want to get this done, then the weekend show, and then me and my brother are going to probably go down there a little early.
You'll be working all day and all that stuff. But now, do you have? Did you get just tickets for whatever's available, or
I got them through the company? So I just.
So you probably got good seats.
Yeah, so I just shot an email request, and 2 ended up in my mailbox.
Wow. Now, are you in like a booth? Do they have a?
No,
booth
these are. I mean, I think this is section 100 or 200. I'll be in. So, good seats.
Yeah,
plebeians.
Cool. Excellent. Well, that should be great. Just get some video or something. We'll put it on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Cool. Send me something and I'll put it on the on my personal page too. If you see people to do a selfie with any fun we'll have just it'll be good.
Did you see the deer on the way in today?
The deer?
The deer. Since we were usually earlier, there's like 3 beautiful young deer on the side of the road.
Them. Thank God.
Yeah.
This is fall rutting type season. They're out there, and again, I videoed just recently. They're in the woods. If you're near woods, there's deer in there, or the wooded area, I guess probably. I can't. Why? Whoever started that near some woods? I mean, a wooded area. It doesn't even make any sense. Who has ever said that?
They're fake people.
God. Anyway, how you doing? It's I guess we're on. Hello, Jennifer. She texted me earlier. She got a meeting or something later that'll probably stiff her on. But she wanted to catch us on the live Facebook feed. So, and we're also on YouTubing, I'm guessing. Okay. And again, if you go to thekimmershow.net, it links, and if you links all our stuff we do and our podcast thing. And if you'd like to become a sponsor or get an address to send money or stuff, go to PeteDavis1@yahoo.com. PeteDavis1@yahoo.com directly, and you can get directly with him. Okay, we got a billion. It's a podcast, so we talk about weird stuff, but we also have newsy stuff. The hurricane is huge. Have you ever seen any of the time-lapse photography? Like, here it comes, baby. I got a couple. Do you have any hurricane stories? Were you ever actually affected by one?
Yeah, when we were kids, we went down to Florida, and there was one hitting on the West Coast on the
Gulf side.
Gulf side,
Yeah.
and we were up in I'm gonna kill this person calling me.
That's all right.
We were in Jacksonville on the 8th floor, and it was moving. The hotel's moving.
Jacksonville?
Yeah, my mom says, we're not staying up here.
That's a long way.
So they put us down on the lower floor, but the whole building was moving.
No kidding. Well, yeah. I mean, what about you, Flounder? You ever been affected from hurricane? Other than going through the ones in
actually,
Atlanta?
yeah. What was the one in 2000? Denny. Remember Hurricane Dennis?
No, I don't remember names.
Is that the one that came up between here and Athens?
No,
then went up
this is in Florida. But we were at my best friend's wedding, and it was the wedding day, and we're all having good, and then we had to leave. They kicked us out because the hurricane was coming.
When I got married.
The entire party had to leave, and they stayed. So a couple of people stayed, and they got put in shelters and stuff like that. The majority of the wedding party drove home pretty much hammered because we had no choice and drove in the rain for 6 hours, but fortunately made it home.
When I married my final wife in her hometown of New Orleans, it was a hurricane had just come through, and they lost power. And we were at the reception house, and it was like 102 degrees with no electricity and no air conditioning. Having our pre-wedding, oh, that's soaking wet through my suit. Anyway, whatever.
What was the one that came through in the early 70s between Athens and Atlanta? And then went up to Pennsylvania and just flooded it out. Pennsylvania out. But I remember we were sitting at...
It wasn't Andrew, right?
And they had canceled the... No,
Andrew
we're talking the
Florida
70s. Andrew was,
that was in
the 90s. Yeah, late 90s.
God, I
well,
don't
anyway,
remember.
we were sitting at the breakfast table, and they said, well, there's no school today. There's tornadoes. And then when Opal came through, which, by the way, was one after Noel, which really pissed me off. Opal came through and come through Alabama. And then became a line of thunderstorms and swept through Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
No,
that
I
was
do.
in the
Gosh,
that was the 90s as well. I remember my friend and I, Jeff, were playing on the tennis court at my parents' neighborhood, and we watched the wall coming in, and we're going, well, we've got just enough time to walk back to the house.
I think that was a storm that we had a friends we used to party with when I was married, my final wife, and they lost their house in Dunwoody from one of the tornadoes that was spun off of that. It might have been the same one. It might have been. It was in the late 90s.
Oh, there was a lot of damage down around the Cheshire Bridge and stuff like that. Those homes.
In fact, one of the storms. I got a bunch of hurricane stories. But when I was after I got split up, I was no longer living in my Brookhaven.
What happened?
Estate.
what happened?
You want to hear something funny? Here's just something funny. Oh my God! I just thought of this for those exact words. Back when we were just beginning at our last radio station, and the morning show involved the little bald guy, broadcaster on the morning show, radio guy. Come on, everybody know he was the star of the '96 Rock. So and so and so and so.
Larry?
Larry
Wax.
Larry Wax. God, I can't say words anymore. I'm telling you, I hate this. I freaking hate this with names. Larry Wax. We've known for 50 years or whatever. Okay, Larry Wax. And as a surprise, Larry and our hot little brunette chickie, the girl on the show.
Not anymore.
Southside Steve, Larry Wax, and the girl. Who was the freaking girl?
Brandy. She was fired.
Brandy. Okay, so they invited me in because we were just starting our show in the afternoon, and so they said, hey, let's have the Kimmer come on the morning show with Larry and Brandy and Eric, and we'll do, or maybe it was Southside, I guess was there, and we'll do a little interview on so and so. So I swear to God, I come on the show, and Larry, the first thing he said, so how you doing? I said good, and he said, so I hear that you were split up with your wife, and I said yeah, and he said, so what happened?
What did you say?
I mean, it was. And when you said that just now, I haven't thought about that since 2005 or whatever, 7 or
2013.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when I got divorced, but again, that was the first time I'd said something like that.
So what happened?
That was pretty funny. But speaking of that, and also the divorce and everything else, in fact, it was a 2005, 6, or 7, something in there. We had a hurricane that was strong. It didn't hit Atlanta directly, but it was one of those years that it hurt us. There were power outages. It was really going to be a bad deal. And I had just been celebrating the fact that I'd lost all my money in the divorce. And to celebrate, I went by myself. I drove to Pinehurst, North Carolina, the resort, and I played Pinehurst number 2 twice with a caddy, walking just the whole experience. Broke 80, and then I had dinner by myself. I stayed in a big room at the place with the porches and in the old colonial. I mean, it was I did a whole golf trip by myself to pine away that I'd like. It's horrible. It's celebrating that I'd lost $1 million.
Looking around,
it was going to be bright.
All the happy couples.
So by myself, and then the storm was coming, and I was everybody knew here comes the storm. So I left at like at 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night. I'd had dinner, I think, and I said, well, okay, this is bad. And I drove back overnight and parked in the driveway of my former Brookhaven estate to make sure that there was nothing happened with a storm coming. And I slept in my car in my former driveway all night long, just in case something bad was going to happen, because she was still there with the barman and the dogs. I'd be hoping
something bad.
Well, but I mean, I didn't, and I never told her. No one ever knew. I mean, I was kind of afraid because I was trying to sleep with my head kind of on the seat, and I was afraid because occasionally there'd be a rescue truck or a cop going by because the power was going out.
You look like a creeper,
and I looked like I was stalking the joint or a burglar or whatever.
You think a cop's going to believe your story? We just got divorced,
but
officer. I'm here to protect her.
Here's my license. I think I still had my. We
need back up over here.
Yeah, see the man.
1 out of 12. See the creeper. On the... Come on.
Anyway, but I said, I just felt a responsible. Whatever.
By the way, I spoke with Shannon Burke.
Oh, really?
I texted him.
Oh, cool.
That's how you speak with people these days.
Not anymore, yeah.
And he's fine. His family's fine. He sent some pictures of his backyard. His swimming pool looks like a teenage wild party.
He's in Orlando area, right?
Orlando, yeah. Things were knocked around, but he says the house is fine, but their work got hit. So I don't know how bad their work studios are hit.
Because they really didn't get it. Well, when it was cutting across, I guess.
Flooded. It flooded Orlando. It went right through it.
Yeah.
So
wow. Well, I'll send him a text later. And
he says he's going to come up on his motorcycle in the next few weeks or so. He wants to see everybody.
Oh, no. Oh, God, yeah, absolutely.
We should have him on the podcast.
Yeah,
you should come and do a podcast.
I don't think he wants to come up here and work. But.
Well, no, I mean, is this work?
Yeah, yeah. Or if he shows up and we want to do a 20-minute podcast with him or something.
Or grab a beer.
Whatever, yeah.
Grab a beer.
Anyway, and when I was my starter wife, back in New Orleans, we had a hurricane go through. Didn't hit us directly, but it was bad enough that I was working 2 jobs. I was working in the radio station, and then in the afternoon, I'd go down to work at the TV station, which was in the French Quarter. And the radio station was like a mile away or something in town, but about a mile away from the TV station. And at the radio station, I was parking in our parking garage in my XKE convertible. It was 10-year-old XKE convertible that I'd always wanted my whole life. And I saw it in the paper, and I said, honey, can I buy? Because I'm working 2 jobs. I'm making this extra money. I'm working 2 jobs, And I said, can I get this? And I said, the guy wants $4,000 for it. It was a '66 XKE convertible when they still had the covered headlights with the rounded headlights. And oh God, one of the most beautiful cars ever designed. Yeah. 66 XKE black leather. I mean, it was beautiful. Anyway, and the actual wire wheels that you knock off. I mean, it was unbelievable. But back then, the Jaguar was a piece of crap mechanically because it was
electrically. Yeah, it
was an overhead cam engine that overheated every time you drove it, and it had 3 2-barrel carburetors. And every time I'd goose it, they'd go pop, 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 and the tops would pop off the carburetors. I'd have to open up the hood, screw them back on again. I mean, but I loved that car. It was so much fun. But it was, I was 10 years old at the time. Whatever. Anyway, so thank God I parked up on like the 3rd level of our parking garage at the radio station, because then the floods hit. And so when I was done with a radio job and had to go to the TV station, you couldn't leave the garage. I mean, the water was it flooded the first level. And so I literally, in a 3-piece suit, I walked from the radio station to the TV station in water to my waist. And when I got there, I showed on the air on that night on TV the watermarks on my suit. And here's the thing: if this happens, and floods happen here, we've had floods, we'll have them again. Don't go running around the street having fun, skipping to my loo. Manhole covers pop up. I mean, snakes. Poisonous turtles, rats,
alligators,
and
even in Fort Myers, there was a shark going down the street.
That sounds like Al Gore on a sunny day. But again, and all the sewage. I mean, and the manhole cover. People have died falling into manhole covers in the water
because you get sucked somewhere else.
I mean, anyway, so don't let your kids. It's not fun to play. You can't do it. And plus, what's in that water.
Did you see what I posted yesterday? It's an old pic. Basically, there's a guy sitting in his den, and there's water about 2 or 3 feet in the water, and right in the middle of it is the damn alligator that has wandered into his house.
Yeah. Again, it's too dangerous. But again, I was walking, and I was very nervous about it. To be honest with you, and all that way in water up to my chest.
And that's waste too, because you could get sick as a dog.
I threw away the suit. I remember the suit to this day. It was a dark gray pin with a light white pinstripe, gray 3-piece suit with a vest. I remember, and it were bell-bottom slacks.
Like a sailor.
Back in the 70s. That's when I was wearing a freaking ankh. A chain with an ankh for a while there in a leisure suit. Oh, my God.
You were totally TV. What a TV douche.
But it was, anyway, so just for the record.
Speaking of Jaguar.
Yes.
I forgot to mention this. Did you notice what the hearse was for the Queen?
I thought it was a Rolls.
No, it was a Jag.
It was a Jag?
It was a Jag hearse. I wonder how fast that sucker goes.
Do
they ever get to open that sucker up?
Well, Jaguar, didn't Ford buy Jaguar? I think Ford bought Jaguar, and they've turned into, I had a Jaguar. I had an R model Jaguar that had the hot 400 horsepower engine, and that thing moved. I mean, that was a hot car. And they have a KRX or something or other thing with a big, but it's not like a big time Charlie motor, but it's still, they got things that move, and I think they're a lot better made than they used to be. But this old 66, oh God, I loved that car, but it was a piece of crap. I couldn't drive it. I took it out on weekends or drove it to work once in a while to try to show off. But it was a piece of junk. In fact, this is stupid. I'm so embarrassed. But I think the kid was asking $4,000 or $6,000 or something, and so I went to look at it. And it had two metal bars that were kind of looked like they had been welded into the engine block. And I said, what? I said, I don't recognize what that is. And he said, oh, apparently the engine came loose or something, so they did a so-and-so. And so I'm thinking, it wasn't quite that, but it
British
was something
engineering.
Vibrations or something.
Yeah, British engineering.
And so I said to the kid, and he was like 20. I mean, he was a kid, and I was only probably 35. I don't know, I was in my 30s or whatever, 40. I was probably 40. And so I said, how much do you owe on the car? What's your bank note? And he said, I owe $2,600. And I said, I'll give you $2,600. And he took it.
Oh, you bastard!
Well, I had to fix it. Then it cost me money. And then the other thing would happen. I drove it for like a year, and finally it just wasn't worth it. I mean, I hired a mechanic to come to my house to take care of it because I just, it was just so much. Once a month, I'd have this mechanic come over. My wife would give him dinner, and I'd pay him a couple $100, and he'd take care of him, tune up the car, But it got to be ridiculous, and so finally I sold it. And as I sold, I made a deal with a guy for like $4,000. Because that's what I had invested in it or something, and then sure enough, it broke. Something bad happened. I had it towed to the mechanic, and he said, "Well, it's going to cost you $2,000 to fix it." So I called the guy and I said, "I can't sell it to you." And he said, "Well, you made a deal." I said, "Yeah, well, it's going to cost another $2,000 anyway." And we had a big fight about that, and I finally got rid of it. But that was a story of my XKE that I had always wanted, and I had it.
You know what you needed? You needed a trunk monkey.
I love that commercial. In fact, I've got it. It's one of the commercials I've saved on my DVR. It was a Super Bowl commercial, and it was the Drunk Monkey. It was an insurance company. I don't even remember what it was.
That was a car dealership, I believe. Yeah, it was a dealership somewhere.
It's just one of the funniest. You have to Google it. I'm sure you can Google it. You watch it. It's hysterical.
The best part is when the guy's breaking into the car and they show the monkey in the trunk. He's reading.
He's reading the paper.
He's reading a book on how to win at casino gambling.
Oh, is that what it was?
And he looks up like,
huh? Who's him drinking into my car? Jim grabs a wrench, and then the last scene at the bridge. I mean, it's just honest to God, it's as funny as it ever gets.
And the other funny one is when the woman's having a baby in the car and the monkey comes out to deliver the baby.
Another commercial that I don't know why I never saw it again other than the Super Bowl, was a guy, it was about messenger service. And a guy said, a guy sitting in his office with a shirt and tie, but his jacket's off. He's casually, like we are, sitting here like this, and he's looking at the camera, and he says, yes, we're going back to the old-fashioned way with direct messages by bow and arrow. And then all of a sudden, thunk, and there's an arrow sticks in his chest, and he says, there's one now. Do it. I see that meeting's pushed back 10 minutes. I mean, I can't do it justice, but it's just hysterical. And I've never seen it again. I saw it once. I have it on the Super Bowl highlight ads. Never saw it.
Speaking of Super, maybe we should talk about the number one story in the world.
Okay, again, Pete Davis, Holy Crap at Sports, I'm guessing later on today.
Because I wasn't expecting to get up at
now it was
crack of dawn.
Thursday Night Football. Today's Friday as we speak. And by the way, this is the last day of September.
I know.
October tomorrow. And
holidays start tomorrow.
Anyway, so Holy Crap at Sports with Pete Davis. And Thursday Night Football, I didn't see it, and because I can't get it because I don't have a phone that covers Amazon football games. But tell the story of Tua, the famous quarterback.
Your TV has Amazon. You should
not my TV.
Watch it on your phone.
I don't have Amazon on my TV. Anyway, the famous Tua Tagovailoa from Miami Dolphins.
Tagovailoa.
Yeah, that's what I said. Now, recently tell the story about what happened. Was it last week
Sunday.
in the game?
4 days ago.
4 days ago, and then a Thursday night game. So Sunday, what happened?
It was a very important game in Miami. It was against Buffalo, the rival. It was for the
Buffalo,
division lead.
Probably the best team in the league. They're saying it's going to win the Super Bowl. And by the way, for background, Tua is the famous left-handed Hawaiian.
Georgia
Samoan,
fans know who he is.
Georgia fans know who he is.
He's the one who came off the bench and threw the
Alabama.
winning.
Yeah, right. But he was a very famous college quarterback, and he's beginning to rise to the occasion in Miami. Apparently, they're doing great this year. Okay, Sunday. There was
he was thrown down on the turf, and basically all he was pushed. The guy pushed him, and he lost his balance, falling back. And the worst thing when your head hits the back,
right?
Smack
but
down.
Even looking at it,
it didn't look that bad.
It was just a teeny little thing. It was like Dale Earnhardt that it just looked like nothing happened to him. But all of a sudden,
Well, no, that's not. That was last night. This is Sunday.
No, last Sunday.
This is Sunday. So he gets up, and the first thing he does is shake his head.
Yeah.
When you got cobwebs, you go. He shook his head, took a couple steps, and then gets real wobbly and crumbles down to his knees.
Yeah.
And then his friends help him,
grab
to help him get up, and he almost falls down again.
Yeah. He's obviously
concussion.
Yeah, no question. He's got a head injury.
And I'm telling you right now,
he's like a drunken sailor. I mean, he couldn't stand up.
That little greasy little shit coach, Mike McDaniel, this is my opinion, I have nothing to back this up, is a liar, in my opinion.
Is he from the Patriots?
They all lied on it. No, he was from the friggin'
I'm sorry, I didn't.
He was the 49ers or Rams, somewhere out west. No. I don't know. I don't know where the fuck he's from.
Sorry.
But anyway, so we can tell it's a concussion. Everybody knows it's a concussion. Every ex-player knows it's a concussion.
Yeah.
Every coach knows it's a concussion. And they said it's a back injury.
They take him into the tent, a little thing. And
they took him off, and then they brought him back a few plays, and he finished the game.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was watching something else.
Yeah, I didn't know
And someone
that
said,
either.
lady, finish the game.
Yeah,
Why isn't he at the hospital?
Yeah.
So that pissed me off. And then I hear that little shrimp afterwards going, well, it was just a back injury. We had him checked out and everything.
Back injury.
So either the coach is lying, the doctor, the team doctor is lying, the independent doctor is lying, and the NFL is lying. Somebody's lying about this. And it's Brian Finneran tweeted last night, and Will Cain did. Heads have got to roll over this.
Have the doctors said that he was fine? And
it was a back injury. The doctor said it. What are they looking at that the rest of the world didn't look? So anyway, so here we
Right.
go.
That was last Sunday.
That was last Sunday. So they're playing 4 days later, which they shouldn't anyway, but they
That's
are because of
Thursday
money.
Night Football. Yeah.
And he basically gets hit. And wasn't that? Well, he was whipped around. First of all, if you got a concussion and your head is whipped around, that's going to hurt. And then it slammed on the turf on the side.
Yeah.
Once again, it didn't look horrible, but it was.
Yeah.
He didn't move. He laid there.
Yeah, he said he was
and
frozen.
his arms, he was on his back, and his arms are up here by his head. Like he was reaching for his head, like, oh, crap. But his hands are gnarled. I mean, gnarled like a 90-year-old arthritis victim.
Yeah, like someone who's just double jointed.
Basically, the fingers were in a position that I don't know I could hold.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah, they said he was frozen. Like
that was a neurological disorder
Yeah.
causes something like that when your head has been hit so hard like that.
Nerve damage,
And that's just and they were saying it was a back injury 4 days before. We knew it wasn't. And now he's laying there. If you have 2 back concussions in 4 days of each other, you can die from that. Die from that.
Yeah, your brain swells.
I think what we noticed last night, and if it had been on the networks, it would have been even bigger, but it's going to be. That's a seminal moment in the history of the NFL. How they handle this will affect youth leagues, high school football, college football, and up to the pros. This could be because if they try and sweep this under the rug again like they did 4 days ago, if they try and lie about it again, the players aren't going to put up. The NFLPA is already looking into this for once. They're actually doing their job.
Yeah.
This could change not just how pros play. This could change everybody, because everybody talking this morning on ESPN, all the ex-players going, I don't want my kid playing football watching that.
Well, the CTE, is that what they've
which they lied about for decades.
Well, the only saving grace has got to be that there's got to be physical evidence in a readout from machines with brain waves or something to show that the man did not have a concussion. Otherwise, if it's all a judgment thing, everybody knows you're freaking lying. In other words, if there's physical, they must put him on a machine or now. When they take him in that tent, I think they just can you see my fingers, and we better go lay down or whatever, or don't lie down or whatever the thing is. But I mean, at some point when he's at the hospital or they've got to do. But this testing has got to involve some kind of a brainwave thing, doesn't it?
I don't know.
I mean,
it's the
gotta be
NFL.
Physical evidence.
They do anything to get them back on the field. And the player, to their fault, they're doing it too. I want to be back on the field.
Well, if it's just a judgment thing, I thought there was specific, they had a protocol that would prove definitively you've had a concussion, like the distance between the jelly in your brain and your skull, or you know what I mean. There's got to be some measurement.
Swelling.
If it's just all judgment, then then they're faking it, and somebody's ought to be getting.
And here's another problem I have. He's at a hospital last night in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And
he went off on a stretcher and took him to the hospital.
And they're all happy, going, yeah, he's been cleared, he's discharged, and he's going to fly home with the team tonight. What the fuck is the hurry? Why can't he stay in a hospital overnight and
because
be observed?
They want to make it look like it's nothing.
Yeah, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're concussed, if you have a headache, what's the last thing you want to do?
Doing any traveling.
Climb into a pressurized cabin for hours.
Yeah.
Because there was a 2-hour flight at least to Miami?
Yeah. Without being able to move much, yeah, right.
That's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, I know.
What was the hurry of getting him back to Miami? And there's a damn hurricane going. Yeah, they fly around it. What's the damn hurry getting him home?
I don't know. Is there something? It's something smells. I mean, something.
If I'm the family, he ain't going anywhere. He's staying in this hospital overnight. We'll come back tomorrow.
I don't get it.
Would you put your son on a plane? Knowing that team had lied about it?
No.
In my opinion, had lied about it? Somebody's lying about it.
Yeah. Something stinks.
And all the players up there, and the ESPN took a shot at Amazon during their halftime show. They didn't even mention what happened Sunday, which is a horse crap. I watched it, and they mentioned it several times.
Yeah.
So I don't know why ESPN's taking a shot at Amazon. Well, you know why?
Well, because
they wanted the game.
Yeah.
So
people
it's
are
all
such. God, I hate people. I really do. I really hate people.
Not our listeners. We love you.
Oh, mercy. All right, hold everything. We got so much to talk about. This is so unusual. I feel like I'm totally out of place from doing this. We starting this like 10:30 or 10:45 in the morning instead of our normal
Hell, the deer are out.
afternoon thing. We have offers for more magazines and all. Wait till you hear what the New Yorker. I gave you another issue. I told you we're getting double issues, and now I'm going to explain to you.
This one's got Aaron Judge on the cover.
Yeah, finally, there's somebody recognizing Aaron Judge. And by the way, they're having a whole big debate now about that. And Roger Maris Jr., by the way, says Aaron Judge should hold the record.
Right.
The record is 61.
Right, I agree totally.
Yeah.
They won't do it because they're
No,
pussies.
no.
But
Roger Maris Jr. said, no.
every
Those are
true
juiced
baseball
guys.
fan knows this guy's the real deal.
yeah.
McGuire, Sosa, and
Yeah.
especially Bonds
Right.
are fakers.
Yeah.
And
Which
they
is a
hit the homers.
Yeah.
But they recovered faster.
And again,
They
you got to give them credit. That takes incredible
Juiced.
athletic skill to hit 70 home runs, and that's unbelievable. But if your body's been juiced
To recover quicker,
I mean, it's really not fair. But you have to admire the skill still. But
There's still
nonsense.
people arguing about that. It's
but
totally legitimate.
Not to me.
Whatever.
No. Yeah. Okay, hold everything. And also, we're going to hear Vice President Shifless once again representing America. and the Podium Princess, if you didn't hear that, you have that over there somewhere, Flounder, too. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. But first, again, if you go to 106.3, I'm sorry, that's our radio station link. Get our free app at Extra 106.3 radio station. I'm medicated. I got my new ear rockets back in, and took some medication to celebrate. Pack me a bowl, Flounder. I'm on the way home. I don't even know what that
bowl
means.
of cereal?
So anyway, go to thekimmershow.net. That links everything. If you want to be a sponsor, go to PeteDavis1@yahoo.com. Much like our friends at M&S Title Pawn did. And I got to say it slowly that way because the title has two letters in it, M and S. So it's M&S Title Pawn, and they are in beautiful Bremen, Georgia, 306 Laurel Street, Suite A. You can see them in person. Love to have you walk in, browse, or bring in what you're looking at. We got yourself Monday through Saturday in person on Laurel Street in Bremen. On the web, spell the word M&S title out, and so it comes out like this: manstitle.com. That's MANDS title.com is how you spell it out if you want to look them up on the internet. Let me give you a phone number to make a phone call. They love to talk to you on the telephone. Area 678-821-3337. That's M&S Title Pawn in Bremen. Okay, now, by the way, Pete Davis, we just got I brought in the New Yorker. Remember, I said all of a sudden they're sending us 2 copies. They're sending me 2, the Kimmer Media, and it was because, they send you a subscription, and then they send you a thing to renew. And so I did, but when they send me a thing to renew, I never send a check right then. I say, bill me. Okay? Yeah. So I said, bill me, and I put it back in. Well, for some reason, they started another subscription immediately that I never paid for, but I did give one, I did pay one subscription. The first one was like $12 a year, or $50 for a year. It was ridiculous, because the cover price is like $9 a week. Anyway, so it was a big deal, because it's a business thing. And then I told him, yeah, send me another one. But all of a sudden, I got a bill the other day from New Yorker for like $400. For subscriptions at full price for like, so of course I'm not paying it because I did, and this one, the cover of it, or one of the ones I got, said your subscription's about to retire to end. And I'm thinking, good, leave me alone, because I did reply anyway. I don't know what's going on with the New Yorker.
We're gonna be in a lawsuit with the New Yorker. Great.
Paying $400 because you screwed up, idiots. Now, we do have an offer from this preferred services people. They're the ones who get into it. Would you like to continue our Gazoo night there, Flounder? Yeah, right over there? Good. All right.
You're too sick to go to the game. You better give the ticket.
We can renew architect. What's the matter?
The cat update. It was actually out under the bed, staring at me as I came in.
We can't wait till we can actually show you the cat. But when I came in, he was in the hallway, and Flounder says, he's right here in the hallway. And I said, really? Zoom. He was gone. So he's around, but
He's a Frady
he's
cat.
coming out. Yeah,
You should name him Frady.
He's a no Lucas. They're calling him Lucas.
Why is he calling him Lucas?
I don't know. We'll ask him. Anyway, he's played with the cat when we get back in here. And I asked him to get some more video of the cat play when he can. Architectural Digest Renew for $10. I don't have any interest in it. It's just beautiful furniture.
It's nice. You know a magazine that sent me by mistake a few years ago, which I actually loved, Popular Mechanics, was incredibly interesting.
You know that is, I used to love Popular Mechanics.
I never read it until
and Popular
they
Science
sent me
was one too.
And I was surprised how much I liked it.
Let me ask you this. Here's another one. See, again, you get all offers in the mail. $10 for an entire year.
Of what?
Of Bon Appetit.
Nah.
No. Okay, there you go. Now, one more thing here, which I thought was pretty
Too expensive
funny.
to cook that stuff.
I got MasterCard wants to give me one of their black cards.
No.
Now, what we need to do, experience the difference with a black card. Premium benefits and flexible, generous rewards.
What they say.
You know, what I
Once
should
you go
do.
black.
No, wait a minute. What I should do is fill it out and be honest. If I fill it out and be honest, you know, my net worth, my monthly income, my credit,
And if they give you one anyway?
and then all of a sudden I get a note back saying, Mr. Peterson, we regret there was some kind of a mistake.
No, do it and see if they're so desperate, they
They'll
give you
send
one
it
anyway.
just to get me hooked
They'll
up.
look at your credit history, they'll look at your age, and I bet they send you one.
I have no, you don't give a guy like me a new credit card.
Well, no, you'll bring it in here, you'll hand it to me, and live on the air, I will cut it up.
I should fill it out and see
You know
if
how
they
stupid
actually
it is
send
to
one.
hand people your age new credit cards?
Yeah, right. Well, I remember,
Sure.
I've told the story. I think Jennifer's watching. Hi, sweetie. I love you. I hope you had fun at Brady's birthday party, too. And by the way, I think it was my little friend Gretchen said there was some video of the Jennifer. I didn't get it, so I didn't put it on the Facebook page, on the podcast Facebook page, of him blowing out the candles, which is a disgusting habit, by the way, on a birthday cake. Yeah, let's all have some after you've just blown your, breath all over your boogers and everything. Anyway, somebody said that Brady blowing out the candles looked exactly like me. That he was a Peterson-looking
That poor
descendant. Poor bastard. Anyway, speaking of Jennifer, I was mentioning her for some reason. What the hell we were talking
I
about?
don't know. You're going down the rabbit holes now.
I can't
This is like
believe
the
it.
third segue from whatever you were going to talk about.
We were just talking about right before the birthday cake. My daughter Jennifer.
You were talking.
Oh, I can't believe it. When she went to college, credit cards. We're talking about credit cards. Jennifer went to college, and I believe she told me one of the first things that happened when she's strolling on the campus the first day,
Amex.
there were little stands there with people saying, "Get your new credit card."
Yeah.
So sure as shit, she got herself a new credit card first day of college at Colorado
Georgia State. I got an American Express the first week I was there.
There you are. Anyway.
And I don't have American Express anymore.
A smart move. Okay, now let's see hurricane stuff. Oh, we have newsy things. Can we do a couple of personal things? Because we talk about Tua, a real hard thing. The hurricane, we're talking about hurricane. Did you see the Facebook posting I put on of cooking with biscuits, the hot dog biscuit?
Yes, I did. I have a critique, but go ahead.
Please. Well, the thing, I thought I did it right. Pete's idea, he said he puts biscuit, instead of using crescent rolls with a hot dog wrap around, you use a biscuit. And I thought, okay, I just got some, so I said that. So I spread them out, and I put the dog in, and I tried to wrap it around like a little sandwich, which looked good. The problem was, in the oven, it came apart. So it's just a hot dog laying in between the biscuit.
You got to mold it around the hot dog.
I did, but I didn't
But here's
put
the big
toothpicks
question.
in it or something. And,
Did you use the grands, the big ones, or did you use the normal size?
No, I
biscuit?
used the grands.
You didn't cook it long enough then. They say 11 minutes. 11 minutes
no,
is for the
it went in
normal
longer than
biscuit.
that, yeah.
Grands need 14
Well,
to
my
15.
mistake was that it came apart. I mean, they were cooked enough where they were browned. I mean,
They look like hot
and I put
dogs,
them back. Yeah,
not pigs
but
in
again,
blanket.
what I should have done is rolled them out really longer and then wrapped them better around the hot dog. Instead, I tried to fold them around the dog, and they unfolded when they were
squeeze them
cooking.
together.
So I should. That was my mistake. But it was tasty, and I liked it. It was different. Yeah, but I made
But
8
you
of
use
them.
the smaller biscuits, and you just wrap it around, and the two ends will stick out,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine.
That's a pig in a blanket.
Yeah.
And you cook it for 11, 12 minutes at 400, and it'll be fine.
Now I cooked mine at 350. Well, it said that on the biscuit thing. I think it said 375 or something
my
on the
God,
biscuit
no.
thing. But you need to do it at 400 and look at it after about 10 minutes. But I think it probably takes more like 13 or 14. But
350, because the little ones say 400.
Well, I got the bigger one, and I swear to God, it's at 350.
It was well undercooked.
350 for ungreased pan for non-stick pans. Anyway, whatever. But it was. I mean, it was good, but next time I'll wrap it. I actually cut little strips and wrap it around.
Use
or do
a
something
small
better.
biscuit.
Yeah, true. But I got a lot of reaction on it, and I made. And the problem is, I got the Nathan skinless hot dogs. And the problem is there's like 14 of them in there, and they're.
Oh, you're eating hot dogs for the next month.
Well, no, what I'm going to do is I'm almost done with this meal, and so I mean I have more hot dogs left. I had them for a couple nights. I'll have more tonight, and I'll be done. So over the weekend, I need to get more. I mean, more meal planning, and among other things, I have some really great thick, those chunky soups, and I'm gonna fry up some of those hot dogs and cut them in little chunks and throw those into my creamy chicken noodle soup or something, the big stocky, whatever they call them, and I'll put a couple of hot dogs chunked up in there. It'd be delicious. And have some biscuits on the side or something. Ooh.
Just some baked beans.
Just thinking about it. Just thinking. Or put them in. Or, in fact, I love some of those silly little honey baked beans canned things, or they Bush's beans or whatever the hell.
Please do that tonight. Don't do that during the nights you come here the next day.
Yeah, no, because that would be bad. I wouldn't be. In fact, I may not do it.
More beans, Mr. Taggart?
I think you've had enough.
Boys have had enough.
Also, Pete Davis, you bastard. We had many comments on the Facebook message page, Pete, about how you roasted me when I was mentioning the episodes of one of our famous series that ended with Dexter, and how I gave away the fact that it was the final episode.
I gave away the whole plot of Dahmer because no one's heard of this guy before. No one saw any of the news reports. Oh my God, does he get away with it? Does he survive? Does he escape to Bolivia? Oh my God, I gave away that he was a gay man who ate people.
Yeah, well, there you are. You gave away surprises. You gave away how he got caught. You gave away the police looking in the thing. You gave away the handcuff. I mean, you gave away the whole freaking story.
Gave away the handcuffs.
Yeah,
you gave God.
away. Listen to him. He's now. I didn't do anything. You bastard. Yeah, they nailed you.
Okay, I got to tell you, they've got a show out now about the moon landing in '69. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it.
Oh, by the way,
come on, dude. We didn't. They faked that. We've never landed on the moon.
That was just. What was that just in the news for? Somebody would just say. Somebody did a. There was somebody was made famous by the fact saying the whole thing was all a joke, and it's just come back in the news again. I can't remember what it was. I heard something. Sorry, I can't remember. Anyway,
how come with you get a really good enough telescope, you can see the flag on the moon? How did we do that?
Oh, of course it was real. I mean, come on. There's no way that could have been fake.
I think it's just amazing we did it in 1969 technology. That's what blows my mind.
Yeah.
What was it after Kennedy's speech when they started?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was directly after that speech, correct?
Well,
pretty much.
There had been a space program, but that was the beginning of the push. He said within this decade, put a man on the moon.
And they did it within 10 years?
Bring them safely back. Within this decade is what he said. He didn't say 10 years. He said within this decade. And that was 1960.
Well, we thought we could do anything, and we could at that point because we had achievers that were running things. Achievers, incredibly smart people, men, adults were running things back then.
Right.
Not anymore.
Yeah. We weren't worried about pronouns.
You know who was running the place? Squares. My
right.
dad was a square.
Geeks, yeah.
It was a square. Squares got the roads built. They got the hospitals built. They got the planes in the air. They kept them in the air. They kept things running. And then all of a sudden we went to, we don't want to be square anymore. We want to be cool.
Yeah.
Well, what has that worked out for us?
Yeah.
The squares aren't in charge anymore.
Remember, the people in charge in 1960 were the people who went through World War II and helped save the planet. And now we're in their 50s and 60s and had seen what the world was like. And they got shit done. I mean,
Werner von Braun comes to mind.
Robert McNamara, was a Ford guy who took over the Defense Department. Anyway,
he was
maybe a bad example
by the way, but he was an
adult.
He was an adult in charge, man.
Yeah, he was an achiever. All those guys back then. Anyway, so Pete got nailed for giving away some of the Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, speaking of television, oh my God. No. The House of the Dragon.
Don't give away anything.
No. I have to. Okay, I am. Well,
There's dragons.
I'll tell you. First, let me put it this way. I don't think I'm going to keep watching it.
Okay.
I might. I'm saying that as I sit here right now. I'm sure that this Sunday night I'll DVR it. whether I actually watch it or not, I may delay it. I've still got one more, but frankly, I will mention one thing. It is, for some reason, it is getting so perverted and kinky.
What is this?
House of the Dragon.
See, he's going to start watching now.
Well, one scene there, the family that
Don't
leads
say
to
who
the
it is.
Targaryens are all the white, blonde, long-haired, like the dragon lady was, and they all have even the men have long white hair down to their ass. And one of them is a freaky kinkoid, and we see a scene from the rear of him over on a turret of the castle overlooking the entire kingdom. So he's up way up high on a turret overlooking the kingdom, and he's totally naked from the rear. You see his total naked body, and then you can see what he's doing. That's all I need to say.
Oh, okay, that is a rip-off scene from The Boys where they have the Superman character who's on top of a building doing his business because he says, no one can stop me and I can.
Yeah.
That's a direct rip-off.
Yeah, well, this isn't doing his business. This is having fun with himself.
Well, that's what I was
Even
meant.
worse, yeah. I mean, and I'm thinking to myself, what is the pot? And he gets caught by the queen girl, the 18-year-old. I mean, it's just stop, just stop.
That's a rip-off.
I mean, that's not. I mean, there's a lot of real, sexual stuff, but it's not. I mean, it's just offensive to me. To me. I mean, how could I be offended? You know what I watch on my computer. I mean, I know a thing. But I mean, seriously, it's just so outrageous. It's just stupid. And I feel bad because the dragons are great and the scenery is. I mean, it's a spectacular production, but they're ruining the whole thing with all this perverted stuff. I don't get it.
This isn't based on the poor guy's books. They've completely gone off the rails here with the guy.
And I mean, I'm pissed off about it because I really wanted to enjoy another really good, I mean, the series is. Think about
the
it.
Amazon thing, which you won't watch, that has the Lord of the Rings thing, which I think is pretty good.
Well, I'll have to get an Amazon phone, I guess.
Speaking of which, this woman says, TH1975 says, can someone get this man a Fire Stick or Chromecast? I pay $80 for AT&T Fiber and have the streaming options, which is another $60. Flounder, help Grandpa out with this. My goodness.
I have tried numerous times.
It all stems.
Well, by the way, I forgot to tell you Wednesday, and it doesn't matter now, that they held Wednesday night was a Resident Alien marathon, and leading up to the season finale.
Oh, really? Cool.
Which I recorded. I haven't watched yet, but I forgot to tell you this Wednesday.
And is it on tonight? It's on tonight, I think.
And last night was the premiere of this season's Ghosts. Did you record that?
I think I did that one too, and I still have 3 or 4. I think I have 3 from last season
you haven't
that
seen?
I haven't seen yet.
Oh wow!
I stack up a lot of stuff that I don't.
What else? What are you doing there?
I don't know. I have no
place?
idea. I'm not doing anything.
Cooking hot dogs.
I'm not doing it. I'm coloring again. I started coloring again.
Kimmer not knowing what he does at home. Brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets, because he's probably hiding in the closet. ClosetPro.net. Go 404-255-0589.
I needed the money. I was desperate.
Atlanta Custom Closets. Don't think what Kimmer's doing in that closet. ClosetPro.net. Do you hide from yourself? Do you feel ashamed afterwards?
Oh, by the way, speaking of kink, I thought this was particularly amusing. That snotty little bartender, Ocasio Bangbangio Stupidio, who, by the way, you haven't heard a lot from her about, now that the Democrats are about to get creamed in the election with their Green New Deal business. Anyway, Ocasio Bangbangio Stupidio was ticked off the other day about the abortion situation, and she was complaining about birth control. And she was complaining that women are going to be prevented from boom. And she said, well, in fact, myself, she said, as a woman who uses an IUD, this is the kind of thing to stop women from being able to get the kind of birth protection they want. And she admitted that she uses an IUD, which means she's a raw dogger. I mean, that's pretty kinky. Raw dog. Pick her up, take her out, bring her home. Raw dog. Kinky, Ocasio, Bang Bangio, Stupidio.
Well, at least she didn't say she used an IED.
She probably
Dumb broad.
thinks it's an IED. Oh my God! I thought that was pretty.
That's what we were saying earlier, that the squares and the achievers aren't running things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Their new meme now going around is, gee, I wonder what pronouns Hurricane Ian was using. You know, I mean, it's just, again, the fact that we're even thinking about things like pronouns, even in the military, they're talking about pronouns in the military.
Well, so someone posted the other day, this is Obama. He started elevating people in the military during his 8 years, and they were warning then saying this is going to not bode well for the future, and here we are already in it.
And by the way, Putitat was also against gay marriage, as we'll recall from many years ago.
And illegal immigration he was against too.
Oh God, I wish we played that soundbite from 2007 when he said, this George Bush, I mean, his man's got to go because it's an open border, and he's allowing millions of people to just come into our country, change our culture, and take the jobs that Americans aren't able to get. I mean, he was a Republican in 2007 on the border, on the issue of the border.
Because he was, at that point, was he a rep or senator? That
he was
mainly,
a senator.
He was geared toward a black constituency.
Right.
And he was
for
worried about their
taking
jobs.
our jobs.
He ain't worried about their jobs anymore.
How come that's not an issue now?
It is in some parts, but the media won't cover it.
That's not the issue then, not the issue now. The issue now is you have a country, you have a border. If you want to come into somebody else's country, you have to sign the book. That's the issue. That's it. That's the only issue. Otherwise, who else in the world would allow this to happen?
Nobody.
So anyway, another personal thing here is
Britain's doing it right now.
Well, look what happened to parts of Western Europe. Remember all the rapes on New Year's Eve and celebrations of the new Muslim community that thought this is the way you can treat people in Sweden and Finland and stuff.
Which is why Sweden has basically gone to the right.
Yeah.
Italy, did you hear what the Italian premier, what she did yesterday?
By the way,
Macron of France attacked Italy, and she didn't put up with it.
Right.
She went list by list of how France is screwing the countries of Africa, screwing them royally, stealing their uranium for the French reactors and stuff like that. While she says Niger and Ghana don't even have electricity, most of the country, and they're stealing your uranium.
I like this.
She went bam, 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 bam.
I like what's happening in the media. They're now saying, well, she's as much of a right winger as Donald Trump. These are all fascists and so forth. And I love the way they describe her as talking about her support for the fatherland. The fatherland is your country. I support my fatherland. This is my fatherland.
Well,
I
don't
used
like
to be
the
used.
phrase.
It's a bad phrase.
They're calling it
because looks
motherland.
like Germany.
That's motherland's Russia.
Right.
Fatherland was
Germany. So.
And what was it? Homeland.
Yeah.
It's a stupid thing.
I know, but
we're America.
That's how the press is now calling her. She's a big fan of the fatherland, like she's some kind of not. I mean, it's repulsive what they're
her
labeling
speech on us being attacked and ostracized because we believe in God and
family and country.
They're taking away our heritage. They're taking away our identity so they can make us faceless numbers and consumers. Well, that's all. You have
to rely on the government. If you have to rely on the government, you're a whole different person.
And basically, this is now a war, and she says we're not putting up with it anymore.
Well, and the people agree. They elected her. And
Good.
it was over. It wasn't even close. I mean, they said, this is our leader. All she talked about was God, country, and family.
Right.
She said, that's it. Those are the things. That's it. And she's a fascist. Anyway.
Well, sign me up then.
Yeah. One personal thing. Somebody sent me, I'll bet I know who it is.
Who?
I'll bet I know who it is. Somebody sent me a box. It was delivered in my mailbox, a box. And it was from like Amazon services or some preferred services or something. And it was a box of 100 assorted Band-Aids. And it's got to be because I have Band-Aids.
You're Les Nessman now.
And I'll bet it's Denise. I'll bet it was because, remember when I said I needed a money clip and she sent me a money? I mean, Denise, you rat. No, I don't know who it is. And don't think, please.
I need a house.
But somebody sent me a box of Band-Aids. I mean, what the hell is, it was no note, no return address. And how am I supposed to figure that out?
But about every 10 years, I'll buy a box of Band-Aids, and literally they will last a decade.
Oh, I've got them all over the place. I've got them in my car. I've got them because, well, when you have, look at my arms. I mean, when you're on blood thinners,
I can't remember last time
I could go like that and get a bruise and cut myself so easily. I don't. Sometimes I'll feel something on my arm and I'm bleeding and don't know it, because it just with blood thinners you get cut very, very easily. Okay, let's see the hurricane thing. Oh, a weird thing, and I know this is not nice. One thing I have started amusing myself with watching all the hurricane coverage from Florida with Governor DeSantis is that he has his interpreter for the deaf.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, when the facial expressions.
Facial expressions alone.
Oh my God! You know,
She's doing this.
You
better run.
I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't mean to. I'm not laughing at deaf people, but when they're going, you know, like this, I mean, she's going like, oh, sure, yeah, right, Jack. I mean, it's you can just look at her face, and then it reminded me, who was the fake interpreter? Was it Reagan's on stage?
No,
it
was Obama. In Africa, in South Africa.
Just a guy. It was just some guy doing this. Yeah. Somebody finally realized he's not doing sign language. He was just a guy. He somehow got up on stage and he's doing this. And it went on forever. I mean, it was like he was there the whole time. And finally, someone said, "Wait a minute."
There should have been a big hook, like vaudeville. A big hook come out.
Sir, you would have to. I mean, that's freaking funny. Sorry.
That would have been funny if they come up and grab him by the arms and they drag him off, and he fights them off and he runs back and he starts to do some more, and they have to come get him again.
They did to me. You believe these guys? You know, like some kind of Groucho Marx thing, you know, by a cigar. And now George Fenneman. Oh my God. Some good news. Miranda Devine at the New York Post. I love this girl. She's on Tucker a lot. Great reporter, and she has the inside scoop on the Hunter Biden laptop stories that are one after another, and also the latest on the FBI. She has now said 30 former FBI agents have now come forward publicly, including a former deputy director of the FBI, to completely 100% support the latest whistleblower who outed the FBI as faking investigations against American citizens to try to link them to the January 6th so-called insurrection, that there may have been a text message or somebody had sent an email, and so the FBI would open up an investigation to that local field office, send somebody to the guy's house, investigate and talk to the guy. Of course, there was never any charge. No one's ever been charged for any of these little investigations, but it's intimidating. And it's done against conservatives who questioned the freaking election. Yeah. And the FBI would fake these saying, well, okay, we got one in Des Moines, so you go talk to that guy. And they would literally have agents in these other jurisdictions go to people's houses and investigate them and intimidate them because of what happened on January 6th, a mostly peaceful protest of Ashley Babbitt Day. And apparently now these 30 ex-agents and a retired deputy director are publicly supporting the whistleblower who outed them for doing it. The whistleblower just got suspended. They kicked him off the FBI, at least temporarily, or fired him. I assume he'll probably get fired, even though he's a whistleblower protected by federal statute. And still, this pansy, chicken-livered, yellow-bellied director, Chrissy Ray from Atlanta, the disgrace of Atlanta, suspends the guy. He's got to be in someone's pocket. There's no possible explanation for what's happening in the FBI. And there are a couple other notes,
I think
smearing.
It's that he's politically in line with them, and he's got no problem.
I think he's a leftist coward. I think he's a fake. I think he's not a lawman. I think he's a politician who is a lawyer politician who believes in the cause of the left. He thinks he's doing the right thing for the country by trying to out white conservatives. I mean, I think he really believes that he's doing the right thing. Otherwise, how would he justify the behavior of the FBI agents? I mean, and forget, the Trump Mar-a-Lago thing. Suddenly, all of a sudden, before the election, Donald Trump is some kind of danger to America with secrets coming out after they're locked in his basement for 2 years. I mean, come on, man.
Did you see the meme that was going around yesterday? And Occupy Democrats actually took it down. They've had to take 2 down recently. The Democratic operatives out there show a picture of Mar-a-Lago, and it says, Ian, you had 1 job.
Yeah. 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 5 SWAT team members the FBI have also said this is wrong. Sending 24 agents with long rifles.
You know what? This is the first I'm hearing of it. Tell you the truth.
Yeah.
There's no one's covering it but Fox.
No, it's covered. Miranda Devine and New York Post. That's it.
Yeah.
And when she's on Fox, and that's it. Again, if this had been a Republican administration and Trump had been doing this, oh my God.
The Gestapo, they'd be calling
They
it.
not only would have impeached him again, they would have. I mean, the country would be in flames. They would all those Antifa and Black Lives Matter and all those people would again be burning down buildings. Why aren't we doing it? We should be burning down buildings. Well, again, I'm not suggesting burning down buildings. So stop. Don't even start that. Okay. But again, really, we don't do that. We don't do that kind of stuff. But again, if it had been reversed, they would be burning down buildings. They'd be storming police stations, throwing Molotov cocktails again into police cars like they did. I mean, you're setting, car parking lots on fire, auto dealerships. I mean, it's unbelievable. And this spineless FBI director, holy crap. In fact, let me ask you a question about this here, coming up in a second. In Seattle, it turns out there are a bunch of lawsuits over what happened in the deadly protests after the George Floyd business in Seattle. People died. What happened? There were takeovers of what happened in Seattle and Portland and so forth after the George Floyd, the rioting and the damage and so forth. Well, a bunch of people in Seattle have been suing. And it turns out in the revelations of their findings of a report that's come out, there have been deletions, 191 text messages from the mayor's phone, the girl mayor at the time, have been manually deleted. And it raises questions about whether Seattle officials who deleted their text messages, like the fire chief and the police chief and the mayor, after the protests and the killings in Seattle, the deletions from the girl mayor's phone with other details include resets performed on phones of other city officials, deleting thousands of other text messages, just like Hillary did. Among the revelations in a new report that just came out, and is sent to the U.S. District Court. Several businesses and residents are suing Seattle for damages because of Seattle's weeks-long tolerance of sprawling protest zone. Remember that 2 years ago when she said, it'll be the summer of love. Everybody will have a little fun. And now they're seeking judgments against the former girl mayor, former police chief, the fire chief, other officials who deleted thousands of messages in blatant disregard of their duties as public officials to preserve it all. Boom, boom. And I guarantee you the FBI is not investigating those cell phones or those messages any more than they did Hillary's. They never investigated her. They talked to her with a lawyer present without her being under oath. And then the FBI director, as you'll recall, said, well, she probably broke a bunch of rules, but no one would ever, convict her in court, so we're not going to. And he had no right. The FBI director had no right to say that she shouldn't be charged. Anyway, here we go. The FBI, once again, will have nothing to do with this Seattle case. All right, hold everything. You're going to hear Vice President Shifless coming up here in a second, and the Podium Princess too. I'll play a little bit of that for you if you missed it, just to show what a disgrace. I'm ashamed of the leadership in my country. I mean, we are a worldwide disgrace.
Joke.
Absolute disgrace. I'll tell you, it's not a disgrace. Our friends at Dead Crow Defense, my friends. Notice how I did that there?
That's a segue there.
I used to be a professional broadcaster.
I got whiplash from that segue.
I just, smooth, baby, smooth. I used to be a broadcaster. I used to be on the radio.
In bell bottoms.
Hey, didn't you used to be on the radio? Nah.
I was in the radio.
No, I was right in the middle of it, yeah. DeadCrowDefense.com. In fact, when you have a second, get to your computer, DeadCrowDefense.com, and check them out. It's where Flounder just got his latest stash of ammo, and where you should too, because not only do they have it, including the 9mm and the stuff you're looking for, but it's also a better price. And a lot of those competitions have been, ever since this whole pandemic business with the China kill virus. Holy smokes! Well, DeadCrowDefense.com is your personal arms dealer. It's not a gun store; it's your personal arms dealer for ammo and ordnance, and and guns and two things. But not only that, it's all for safety gear and self-defense self-defense equipment and stuff like that. Check them out, deadcrowdefense.com. I'll give you the phone number if you need to, like an emergency call to see you need something real quick. Here's the phone number, area 678-576-9117, or shoot them an email, and that is to sales@deadcrowdefense.com. See how that works in there? It's your personal arms dealer. They'll reach out to you. What do you need? What can we get for you? And they'll do it. Don't forget, when you check out online, the promo code KIMMER, KIMMER, at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your first several orders at deadcrowdefense.com. These are good folks. And again, we really appreciate their support here on the Kimmer Show podcast, because we're trying to actually make a living doing this. I know, it's silly, but we're trying.
Couple things.
Yes.
Flounder, why did you wait till after you got a cat to put 2 glass vases on the floor?
Well, no, I put those. Those are in the living room. I put them in here because I keep this door shut because
He's gotta
this
go
is
for
the no
those.
room for the cat right now because of all the cords and stuff like
I
that.
can see you sleeping peacefully at night. Crash.
Yeah, he's starting to get curious out there, and he was chewing on a fake plant, and he's just getting comfortable with the place.
Well,
So
good,
he's-
good. And you have a toy out in your kind of living
Yeah,
area,
yeah.
which I see, which is nice. Now, does he sleep in your bed? Does he?
He was sleeping in the closet. Now he's come out to my room, and he kind of sleeps on the rug right there with a little blanket.
Did you ever just pick him up and
Yeah.
bring him into bed?
I mean, he'll come up there and lay with me, but he's kind of anxious right now. He kind
Yeah.
of just wants to, but he'll lay there
Get
for a
another
minute
cat,
with me.
man.
And
Get another kitty.
baby steps.
And Nancy Pelosi has just said this.
Oh, God.
We have a shortage of workers in our country. In Florida, some of the farmers and growers are saying, why are you shipping immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here.
Oh, my God. Yeah, there you go. You damn Republicans are hurting the crop pickers in Florida.
We don't want them. We don't want those brown people up
I
north.
hate her. I mean, can you
You
imagine
keep
the
them back
the
south.
balls on this woman blaming Republicans for making the labor shortage an issue because we're sending all the laborers north? I mean, that's a thing? Well, the 50 Venezuelans means Florida can't get their crops picked? Oh, my God. I mean, someone should punch her in the... No, you can't say that. You can't say that. I mean, I hate these people.
I do.
I hate them. And you know the media's going to cover... Well, you just read it. The media's going to cover her. Those Republicans are deliberately affecting the crops of Florida. You won't be able to eat because of Ron DeSantis.
Tom Fitton has
bam.
now got a term for her and the other ones. He's calling them the overclass.
Oh,
'Cause
God.
they lord over us.
And let's get Carmela's soundbite here, Flounder, if you would, sir. Carmela was at the DMZ, North Korean, South Korean demilitarized zone, visiting South Korea. Our ally is, remember, South Korea. So here's Carmela Shifless, the Vice President of the United States, who again was picked not because she got a single vote, which she did not. She dropped out of the primary race before she was before the first election of the first primary, because she was so unpopular. But because President Child Molester said, I'm going to pick a black chick, and then what was he left with? There weren't any others. And he couldn't have picked Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian black chick, so he had to pick her, even though she didn't. But he hated her so much she didn't get a single vote, never won. She never. I mean, can't believe this. Anyway, so they picked her, and then she goes to the demilitarized zone. And here is Vice President Carmela Shifless describing our close ties with our friend, our ally, right here.
So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. And it is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
I mean,
No.
I mean, come on.
North Korea.
I mean, come on. And here's what's even worse. And I heard the video on Glenn Beck or something. Maybe it was this morning's show. I don't remember. But there was somebody had also had some of the kind of the ambient sound of the video of her the video of her after she made the little comment of being freaking brain dead, lazy bones, shiftless, incompetent. And they have video of her talking to a couple of soldiers, and she's looking through spyglasses to look across the border. And he says, "Yeah, it's right over there, ma'am, 50 yards away." Oh, really? And then some of the natural sound audio is of her saying, they're standing around, nobody's talking. Okay, the two generals or colonels, whatever, and her, and they're standing around, nobody's talking. So she says, "Hey, did you guys see the video from the space telescope?" of the universe, all the stars and everything. Wow, is that really incredible? That's the Vice President of the United States. That doesn't even know how to make small talk to soldiers on the DMZ.
How about that Webb telescope, huh?
Oh, my God. Hey, did you see that video? Boy, those stars, man. I don't know how they get all those. I mean, oh, my God.
You see the one where the dog runs in the room and he picks up the bone? And...
Yeah. Hey, Paul, remember that time when you sang that song and everybody really liked it?
before the Beatles?
Yeah, you were with the Beatles and everybody was real popular and you had that song, I Want to Hold a Hand. Remember that? Oh, my God. She's the vice president.
She's an idiot.
I mean, did you guys ever see that video of the space telescope? Holy,
Ain't that something?
I mean, come on. And by the way, when the storm was hitting last night in Florida, you know what President Showers with daughter was doing? He was at a fundraiser for a political candidate.
Yeah, he did something stupid there, too. I forget what it was.
We talk about the Where's Jackie.
Where's Jackie?
But no, he's saying, boy, those people are really getting hit. You know, instead of saying our American citizens are, but he was at a fundraiser instead of, being on the phone. Well, he eventually did finally have to call DeSantis. But
we have the official story right here if you want to hear it.
Please do.
Interrupting his remarks at the White House conference on hunger, nutrition, and health, President Joe Biden reportedly called on any spirits of dead lawmakers present to make themselves known after the late Representative Jackie Walorski didn't answer him. Please, any senators or reps who still manifest themselves here among us, I urge you to give us a sign, said Biden, telling the audience that he had detected the spectral presence of Walorski, who died in a car accident in August, and that he could discern from the electromagnetic wavelengths in the room, as well as the eerily cold temperatures near his lectern, that multiple other deceased lawmakers were there too. Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? Where's Birch Bayh? Where's Teddy? Teddy Kennedy. I can sense you are close by. I believe I feel the presence of Strom Thurmond. Strom, speak to us. Strom, you're among friends. I know that you have unfinished business here, and I beg you, come forward. Let us help you pass the laws you were unable to pass through in your lifetimes. Come forth. Come forth. Reveal yourselves, oh phantasms. Attendees at the remarks were watching in shock as Biden began convulsing, and the voice of late Arizona Senator John McCain spoke through his mouth about the importance of addressing the nutritional needs of rural America.
I mean, even the media is finally covering the fact that this, and do we have the section of the regime between the she's gay, she's black, she's a girl, the worst, the dumbest representative of the gay female black community. Did you guys have that segment found in here, or was that on TV I heard somewhere?
The John Lennon comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, well, here, again, now, the reporters are asking, there could have been a fairly easy answer when the reporters are going to ask this idiot podium princess puppet about the President of the United States forgetting that the Congresswoman had died in a car wreck, along with her staff aide member. It was a horrible, horrible wreck, and that he had sent condolences. This was a whole thing, and he totally forgot, and he's saying, well, she couldn't be here. I guess she couldn't be here. Where's Jackie? She's dead.
She's dead.
Anyway, she's dead now, sir.
Still dead.
Still dead. And so clearly it was just, it may have been the biggest gaffe of, what's a bigger gaffe?
If Saturday Night Live was still on and correct, they would have said, Representative Julie Walorski is still dead.
Still dead. What is a bigger presidential gaffe? What has a president said that is more of an idiot comment than that? Can you think of one? I don't mean joking around like Reagan saying we're about to bomb. I mean a mistake on being live on television.
Biden's got like the top 5 now, I think.
It's unbelievable. Anyway, so they asked the podium princess, and what she should have said was, well, clearly the president, misspoke because of the nature of the ceremony, and he was praising all the work that she did, and it was clearly he misspoke by accident and regrets it. Boom. 10 seconds, it's over. It would be that'd be it. Even I could figure out 10 seconds worth of words to put together to stop it all right there.
You know how bad this was? Even Trevor Noah, who's unfunny on The Daily Show, made fun of it. And his audience groaned like, oh, my God. They realize how bad it is now.
Well, here is how the podium princess puppet, she's gay, she's black, she's a girl, handled the question of President Showers with daughter.
unusual scenario there.
Maureen, I have John Lennon top of mind just about every day, but I'm not looking around for him anywhere.
When you sign a bill for John Lennon as president, then we can have this conversation. Okay, go ahead.
What a stupid human
Snotty
being.
little. I mean, she's an embarrassment. It's a horrible embarrassment.
And have you heard the latest on John Fetterman?
No. Oh, I know he's complaining. Hey, there's that doctor made fun of a medical condition. I've heard him complaining about Mr. Lumpneck.
He had. I don't know if this is. No, I think it's a Democrat debate with two other Democrats, a white man and a black man.
Really? Recently?
And the black man is a Democrat named Malcolm Kenyatta, who looked at John Fetterman standing next to him and said, quote, "You're the only Democrat who used a shotgun to chase down an unarmed black jogger."
Yes, remember? We told you
I
the
just
story.
found out about that story a few days ago. No one's talking about that.
Yeah.
He chased down an innocent
Right.
black man with a shotgun.
I told that story on our podcast a few podcasts ago, and we had quoted the guy who was involved. And again, he said, I mean, it's just remarkable. He was the mayor of a little tiny town. He heard a bang and saw a black guy running, and so he followed him in his pickup truck. Remember, I mentioned this specifically.
Like South Georgia.
Just like South Georgia. He followed him in the pickup truck with a shotgun, held him at shotgun in his chest because he was a black guy running through the neighborhood. Turns out the pop-pops were fireworks. Somebody showing off fireworks. It wasn't a gunshot at all. And
If
again,
a Republican
he was
had
fine.
done that.
Yeah.
If a Republican had done that.
And again, this is while he was living with mommy and daddy. They're still paying his salary because it was just a little town volunteer mayor kind of deal. Anyway, so he's debating, and the black guy says, "You're the only one of us who chased me down with a shotgun." Oh my God.
Oh,
Good.
The people are now having fun with Pelosi's thing. Democrats have been playing the long game to get their crop pickers back.
Well, the Democrats haven't been this mad since we took away their slaves. Since we made them go to school with black people. In fact, there's a little history note coming up on that a little later on today here too. Also, I'm going to do the top 100 TV. TV shows of all time according to a current list. Did you know about Tucker Carlson and the Hells Angels link? Have you ever heard that link before? Either have I until now. I think my little friend Gretchen sent me that story that's got buried somewhere. I want to do a couple of quick other sports things. Again, Holy Crap at Sports will be coming up later on with Pete. Pete David, the best sportscast and podcast in America. What do you think about Deion Sanders, maybe the Georgia Tech football coach?
It's possible. I doubt it. I think he'd probably want a higher profile like Auburn.
Wow. Well, I never thought of that.
We talked about it last week.
We did?
Because
About him
Tech-
going to Auburn?
Yeah, because we talked about him either going to Tech or I figured you'd want to go to the SEC.
Yeah, Auburn makes more sense.
But at the same time, he's really built this program with this smaller school, and he might be able to coach his son.
They're like 19-2 or something too.
If he is willing to live in Jackson, Mississippi, which I'm from Mississippi, I've never been to Jackson, but I understand it's kind of a hellhole.
Yeah.
If he's willing to live in Jackson, then Auburn's not that. He'll live in Auburn.
Oh, I don't think
he doesn't
cares
have to be in a
about that.
big city.
I think he's going to go where the school did it best. But I can't. Well, when you said that, I'm kind of surprised that Auburn would consider him just because he
They may
probably
not.
needs one more step.
They're insane down there.
Well, that's true. But I would think he needs really one more step if he wants to be a big-time national football coach.
Where else? I mean, come on, man.
Well,
he comes there at the
I don't
time
know.
that Saban's about to retire. He could rule that state.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think he's going to be a great head coach.
I don't think
Because he's
he'll
going to
come
have good staff people, and he's going to be able to pay with this, a likeness payment business for student
Oh, hell,
athletes. He'll
Auburn
get
will
all
pay
the best
anything.
people in the world.
Oh, yeah. They got no problem with money
He'll have
there.
great teams.
I
And he just hired great staff. He's going to be the coach. He's going to be the guy. But
Georgia Tech is too tough of a job. I think.
Well, with athletes, you have to get who can pass tests and stuff. Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
they actually have
It's
to
like
go to
Notre Dame.
school.
Huh?
They actually have to go to class.
Have to go to class, yeah.
Every once in a
Notre
while.
Dame used to be like that. I don't know if they still are.
They're kind of like
Sort
that.
of, yeah. But again, I don't see him going to Tech only because of that. He'll be
It's tough.
prevented from trying to get the very best athletes
But
because they're going to have to
would
take
do
calculus.
well. I think he would do well, but he would not do SEC well.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll do SEC well, but I think the fact is, again, my whole attitude about him, I think he's a great attitude. I think his demands he makes of his players as men and gentlemen and American. I think that's great. I think that's great. A couple quick things. Somewhere I marked something else down here somewhere, and I can't remember. Oh, Major League Baseball says they're using the pitch clocks they're using on minor league pitchers have cut the game by almost 30 minutes.
Yep,
Short.
at least 20. Yeah.
25 to 30
Good.
minutes. Also,
And you know who's the worst? Kenley Jansen.
Oh, yeah.
For God's
Oh, my
sake.
God.
Get on the mound.
Throw the ball.
Throw the fucking ball. I hate that.
One more thing. This kind of suck? Apparently, when Georgia Tech said they were firing the athletic director and football coach, that they escorted him immediately off the campus premises.
I wondered that. I was going to call
There's
some
a big
friends
story
down
on
there.
it right now, and they said, "No, you're not going back to your office. And they took him to their car.
That's wrong. See, I've
With
always wondered
guards.
that. What do they do with the coaches, in this? And I'm thinking, and I thought, no, it's Georgia Tech. They'll let him go say goodbye to everybody. I guess not.
They escorted him to their cars and made them turn in their phones right then and key cards and said, "That's it. You're off campus."
It makes me think that there's something going on, that they're worried about an investigation or something. That's why they want their phones
I mean,
and
what the hell?
paperwork
They've
like
got
that.
laptops. I mean, what the hell are they worried about? I mean, but the athletic director and the football coach at Georgia Tech escorted to their cars and turned in their phones.
Was this radio?
Yeah, I mean, when they got rid of me, they said, "Well, you can come back later and get your stuff."
I was allowed to walk around. I said goodbye to everybody.
Yeah,
Of course, I had packed up my shit 3 weeks before. I knew it was coming.
I don't even remember those days. But I thought that was kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me take one more thing. I might have had one more story in here.
David says, for the next Ask the Kimmer segment, please just ring the bell.
All right, never mind. I'm sorry.
You trying to answer that physics question was
a
hysterical.
Am I the reason we can't get hired? I think I'm the reason we can't get hired.
I don't.
I've suddenly started thinking, I maybe, and by the way, for the record, if you guys, if somebody says, "Hey, Pete, we got a job for you. We need a new sports guy in Flounder. You'd be a great sidekick for a new sports section we're having so-and-so," and they're making you a job offer or something, you got to take it. I mean, I would never want to be the guy who's holding you back from actually having a career.
Well, it's strange that you bring that up, Tim.
I mean, I'm serious. And you got to tell me if you have a chance to make a living again and go back to work, and I'll just try to figure out a way to live near my kids because they got an extra room in the basement.
Well, the worst case scenario for you is you finally say, "Screw this," and you move to Colorado and you be next to your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a win-win. No matter how this goes, you got to fail safe that you're going to be next to your family, and that's fine. So, that doesn't mean we want to stop this, but
Well, anyway, I'm just saying because I'm concerned about the future. I mean, and especially, God, I saw, in the store yesterday, I felt so sad about this. I'm trying not to spend any money on myself or anything, but I go buy groceries and I buy them almost a day at a time, so I don't, whatever. And I buy my carrots for the horses and something, and I've got like 4 things, and I'm seeing this couple is standing there going to have their phone out, adding up things, and they've got stuff in their cart. And they were trying to make sure that they, to the penny, were trying to make sure that they had enough money and that they got the right sales on various things to be able to check out and get their food. And I'm thinking, geez, and they had to be 75 years old anyway.
And they're doing that, and there are parts of this country, California, where you can just walk into a store and take whatever you want and walk out.
And I thought to them, I said, well, who isn't in that position at our, this is the age when you're supposed to have had the golden years, where you sit on your porch and you watch a car goes by and you see your kids every month, you go up and visit your grandkids, I mean, and again, and they looked heartbroken. And I thought, oh my God, I'm so sad. It's like the guy was at Flounder, or somebody put it on Facebook. Oh, as Hector said, he was at a gas station and he saw a guy pump in 1 gallon of gas. I know. 1 gallon of gas, because that's all the money he had. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, sorry. It's sort of a downer.
I've got you. When I drive up through the mountains, I just drive up around the mountains. Every time I see an old person sitting on the porch, I'll either blow the horn or I'll wave.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, who's the hell driving that weird car waving at me? But
get back on the sidewalk.
And they always wave back. It's
yeah, I used to drive. Well, back when I had my Harleys at work, and I'd go into North Georgia almost every weekend. Of course, I was before I had Jack.
And this is the time to do it. It's so beautiful.
Well, the leaves are going to turn here pretty quick too.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Really, Grandpa? You think that's going to happen?
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, see, when the tree sap gets cold enough. All right, coming up, Tucker Carlson and the Hells Angels. I can't believe it. Also, the top 100 TV shows of all time. Damn it, Janet. That phrase is coming back with an original star.
Janet we're talking about.
Well, we'll tell you here in a second. That's coming up. So stay tuned here as we bring you the live Kimmer Show podcast. And a shout out to our friends, one of our Kimmer Show sponsors, SwapMyWhip.com. A whip, of course, being colloquial for a ride. SwapMyWhip.com. You're driving along. I see a car. Oh, man, I've always wanted that car. And then you say, you know what the heck? I'll go to the swapmywhip.com, and you'll find like-minded car owners who want to swap their ride with yours or someone you know or whatever. But anyway, and you say, oh, I've always wanted that car. You get in contact, you bingity-bomb, no middleman, no salesman, no car dealers, nothing like that. You swap your own whip, avoid all the hassles, and it's not just trucks, boats, SUVs, RVs, jet skis, off-road things, stuff like that. SwapMyWhip.com. If you use the coupon code KIMMER, K-I-M-M-E-R, you get 180 days of free premium listings on SwapMyWhip.com. And it may be the thing, who knows? It's fun just to check it out, and it may be exactly what you're looking for. Our friends at SwapMyWhip.com. And I couldn't believe this story, and I think it was my little friend Gretchen sent me this, and it was from the Raging Patriot, whatever that is. I swear to God, Raging Patriot, real news for real patriots. Quote, headline, Fox News star Tucker Carlson makes surprise appearance to deliver tribute to the founder of Hell's Angels, Sonny Barger's funeral.
First of all, how Sonny Barger was still alive in this day, and it was amazing.
I've seen so many Hells Angels documentaries on the History Channel or A&E. Oh,
Hunter
my
S.
God.
Thompson infiltrated the Hells Angels in the 1960s, got his ass kicked almost near to death because of it, wrote a book, and talks about Sonny Barger.
Yeah.
That's how old this sumbitch was.
Yeah. And by the way, Hells, I won't. They can be pretty rough people. The women would sometimes be mutilated as their entry to be biker chicks and stuff. Anyway, whatever. Okay. Now, here's the story. I had no idea. Fox News host Tucker Carlson made a surprise visit to deliver a tribute to Ralph Sonny Barger, the longtime president of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, at his funeral in Stockton, California. Quote, I grew up here. I'm 53 years old, so I remember a different state. I almost never come back because it makes me sad, and standing here with all of you reminds me of the state I grew up in. This is Tucker Carlson speaking. I haven't smelled cigarette smoke in the state of California in 30 years, and I'm just so grateful to smell it. And I'm not joking at all. So thank you to those of you who are smoking and persisting. Thank you to those of you who are going to the Stockton Gun Show in 2 days. God bless. Tucker Carlson, he didn't know Barger personally, but a friend sent him a letter that Barger wrote to his family, and it stuck to him. Quote, we'd always been fans of Sonny Barger, but I didn't know what his personal views were apart from representing the club. And that letter, if I can just summarize it from memory, was, always stand tall, stay loyal, remain free, and always value honor. And I thought to myself, this is Tucker speaking, I thought to myself, if there is a phrase that sums up more perfectly what I want to be, what I aspire to be, and the kind of man I respect, I can't think of a phrase that sums it up more perfectly than that. And I thought that came from Sonny Barger, the famous outlaw biker that every mom in my neighborhood was scared shitless of as a child. Why aren't we hearing that from the people who run the country, Tucker says. Why is it left to Sonny Barger to say, stand tall, stay loyal, remain free, and always value honor? The President of the United States should be saying that every single morning as he salutes the flag, but only Sonny Barger is saying it. And I thought to myself, I want to pay tribute to the man who spoke those words, and when I was invited to this funeral, I cleared my schedule, and I thought, I don't care how hard it is to get from Maine to Stockton. I didn't know he was in Maine. I'm going and I'm going here. I'm here now, and I'm honored to be here. And thank you for having me. And I hope that you continue to represent those views. Amen. Tucker Carlson at Sonny Barger's funeral.
Barger did. I mean, my God, he did things that
we'll
never know.
Killer. I mean, these guys are gangbang. These guys are monsters. You know, who didn't?
Hell, remember
love the Hells
Altamont?
Angels? I mean, my generation was the generation of the Hells Angels. I mean,
They killed a man live on the film, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I mean,
right on the stage.
They were pretty rough there. They were pretty rough. Yeah,
stabbed him to death.
Yeah, killed him right there. Yeah. Well, they don't mess around. How many? I've seen. I don't know how many documentaries on the Hells Angels. I mean, and
you should read that book. And he wrote it back in the 70s. The Hunter S. Thompson Hells Angels. It's a hell of a book.
I'll bet it is.
I mean, they did things. Here's one thing I'll say. It's a little off color. They had a bar, and the bar was famous for them to sit there on the stools and drink beer while getting serviced.
Yes.
They didn't care who did the servicing.
No. Oh, no, that's not good.
They didn't care.
Oh, no, that can't be appropriate there.
Didn't care.
No. Well, we should have left out that part. Now, speaking of nostalgia, and I kind of mentioned this briefly, or teased it here briefly a minute ago. And again, I mentioned my daughter, Jennifer, I think is probably watching, or was, I think she had a meeting, but at some point was watching the podcast, and I'll mention here in a minute. Because you have to get your toilet paper, a flashlight, your newspaper, and maybe your fishnets and makeup ready, because the touring live interactive version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show is making a comeback. They're celebrating the film's birthday with screenings, live shadow casts, inappropriate invitations to the original stars, including Barry Bostwick, is now back. Is part of the return. That's right.
Oh,
he's back
fallen.
as part of the return of the original Rocky Horror Picture Show. He says, quote, "It's an excuse to go crazy, be rude, throw stuff, yell, and be silly. Who doesn't want that? Everyone there is having a fun communal experience, especially now after the pandemic. We need to gather and blow off some steam." It was released in 1975.
He needs a job.
The sci-fi cross-dressing cult rock musical film classic. The song Time Warp has been covered by handfuls of artists. It contains the oft-quoted phrase, "Damn it, Janet," and other things that are less PG-13. During the wedding scene, people throw right in the theater. And we took, when my daughter Jennifer and her girlfriends went, it was Jennifer's 16th birthday party, if I recall, and Jennifer and her friend, the naughty little Kelly Woodward,
Stop. Keep going.
Anyway, and her little friends and my wife and I took all the kids and went with them to the Rocky Horror Picture Show in the theater where they have the cast on stage. And Jennifer was one of the girls they called up from the audience and was part of the cast on stage for the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And as I recall, she said one of the girls in the cast member just kept feeling her up the whole time. She was behind her just feeling her up the whole time she was up on stage. But Jennifer was part of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and they're bringing it back now. And of course, you throw rice at the wedding scene. You put newspapers on your heads and squirt water during the rainstorm. Throw dried toast during a dinner toast scene. People come in corsets and fishnets and butler costumes and eyeshadow makeup. And the actors perform while they have the movie, and it's just silly. And it was from 1975, and they're bringing it back.
We used to almost every weekend get drunk off our ass on Real Sangria or Bush beer and go either to the Stonemont on Memorial Drive, or we'd drive into.
There was one in Buckhead.
Then we go to Buckhead, either
the one
the
where
Silver
it splits off of Roswell
used
Road
to be.
and
Rhodes,
Main Street.
There was a Rose Theater. There was the Silver Screen, which isn't there anymore.
I can't
Peachtree
remember.
Battle. It used to be in the middle of Peachtree Battle.
Yeah.
Silver Screen and a couple others. We'd drive into town if we felt really adventurous.
Yeah.
And back then, 18-year-old,
Well, you could
we
do
were
it back
17, 18, you could do it.
Yeah.
Parents didn't know where you were.
Yeah.
And by the time the last 20 minutes of the movie, you're ready to leave because you're starting to sober
but it
up.
was a cult thing, and it
was.
kind of
It was
reminded
fun.
me. And it was fun. And I, as a grown up and a parent, watching your kids be, and I was doing the same stupid stuff. It was fun. It was.
And we
just
didn't
really
dress
fun.
up, but we did
No,
bring
didn't either.
toast.
Yeah.
We did bring
I
stuff.
think we had squirt guns and a newspaper or an umbrella. I think we brought umbrellas. I think we had little umbrellas.
Okay, this is another blue thing, but our favorite line, the favorite thing was every time the old guy would come on in the wheelchair, "Where's your fucking neck?"
I forgot.
That was my favorite line.
Lines.
Where's your
I've forgotten all those great
And
lines.
you know what's funny? He was an actor that was in several other things. TV, and every time I see
can't
him at another
remember.
show, I yell at the
Yeah,
screen
this-
when I see
yeah,
it.
that's funny. Anyway, it's making a freaking comeback.
Which,
I'm
speaking
glad.
of which, I posted this on Twitter last night. I'm sitting there watching something and somebody's talking about gas grills. And they
Oh,
said something
yeah.
about propane. We could use propane. And I just, by rote, I turned to the TV and I said, propane and propane accessories. And so I put it on Twitter. Am I the only person who does that? And everyone's like, no. Everybody does the King of the Hill as propane and propane accessories.
Accessory King of the Hill.
I'll tell you what, Bobby, that boy ain't right.
Wasn't it Jeremy Ferguson used to say that all the time?
yeah, that boy
ain't right.
I tell you what.
Yeah, boy ain't right. And speaking of King of the Hill, the top Rolling Stone magazine has come out with the top 100 TV shows of all time.
The top 100?
Top one. I'm not going to read all 100, but as an example, I'll give you an example of some on the list. For example, number 100 is Eastbound and Down, which I
it's
never
all right.
actually I heard of it, never saw it.
It's all right.
Oz is 99.
No.
Gunsmoke is 96.
Well, yeah. I didn't care for guns.
Jeopardy 94.
Yeah.
American Idol 92.
No.
Good Times 86.
They don't. Is that really a top 100? Good
Yeah.
times. Come on.
Homeland 89.
That was good.
Dick Van Dyke Show is
Yeah.
number 90.
That's way
That's got
down
to be
the
higher
list.
than 90.
Yeah, that's way down the
Again, this is the top 100. Dallas is 81.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The Jeffersons 82.
Yeah.
House of Cards 83.
Never saw it.
Real World 85. 30-something 78. But the Fugitive TV series Fugitive is only number 80.
Huh.
That was a very big series. Let's see. Ren and Stimpy 74.
Stimpy.
Downton Abbey 66.
Wow.
The Odd Couple TV show, again, we're talking top TV shows, is 67. Ed Sullivan, 69. Sex and the City, number 62. Dave Chappelle, number 64.
Yeah.
Happy Days, number 65.
No, Happy Days is overrated as hell.
Faulty Towers comes in at number
Yeah.
57, best show. Beavis and Butthead, 60.
No.
24, the series 24 came in at 56. I started liking
Edwin
that.
56. Come on.
Fargo's number 51.
Yeah.
Bob Newhart Show ranks
Yes.
number 53rd.
Which one?
The 72 to 78
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Let's see. Mary Tyler Moore, number 46. Rockford Files, 47. The Office, 48. The Shield, 40.
Yeah, The Shield was great.
The Americans, number 43.
Yes.
I thought that was bigger than that, though. Columbo, number 44. Again, that changed TV.
Who
too. That was
decided this?
Rolling Stone magazine. It was like, I forgot, it was like 80,000
They're all high in the
people.
back room
well, I
throwing
guess
names
so.
around.
Law and Order is only number 36. The Tonight Show, Johnny Carson, number 30. Again, these are the top 100 of all-time TV shows. I Love Lucy's only 32. That changed television.
I know, that's kind of weird.
Deadwood, 23.
To me, Deadwood is maybe the greatest written show the first 2 years ever.
Suckers.
Veep is number 25, and that's a funny series. That was on
Yeah, it's
HBO.
not
Very
that
funny
high,
series.
though. Come on.
Arrested Development, 27.
Yeah.
I think it'd be higher than that, too.
Yeah.
Loved that show. Curb Your Enthusiasm, number 19. Cheers is number 20 ranked TV show of all time. The Office, number 21. Freaks and Geeks is number 11. Are you kidding me?
Well, that was a cult classic that led to a lot of people in that show moved
that's
on
the
to
girl
do a
that
lot
went
of
on to
other
West
stuff.
Wing, right?
And
Isn't
not
that-
only the people who did it moved on to be superstars and directors and producers and stuff.
Game of Thrones is number 12 best TV series of all or show of all time. David Letterman show number 13. Larry Sanders show 14. That's up there. West Wing number 15 best TV series or show. Simpsons number 6. Twilight Zone number 7.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live is number 8 best TV show of all time. Number 9 is All in the Family. Number 10 is The Daily Show.
No, what?
All right, that you got to be
That's
kidding
complete
me.
kissing ass
That's
to them.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Okay, the top 5 best TV shows of all time according to Rolling Stone magazine. Number 5, Seinfeld. Number 4, Mad Men. Number 3, Breaking Bad. Number 2, The Wire. Number 1, The Sopranos. Better Call Saul's not in there.
No, and I think
Anywhere.
the Wire's too high too. I couldn't get into The Wire.
Anyway, you can probably put or subtract or add a whole bunch of them, but that was the Rolling Stone. And it was like thousands and thousands of.
I thought the first 2 or 3
survey
years
things.
of Boardwalk Empire belongs in the
I
top
think
100.
that is in there somewhere, but it wasn't. I didn't mention it, but it's in there somewhere, but it's not in the top.
Cheers
like 20.
in there?
Yeah, Cheers is in. I did mention.
Cheers is a little overrated, to tell you the truth.
Well,
Well, it was part of that.
It
that
dragged
was
on too long.
Yeah, but it was part of that Thursday night TV.
Frasier.
that was
Where's
huge.
Where's
Cheers,
Frasier?
Frasier, Hill Street Blues.
Cosby
I mean, NBC
Show.
owned.
You didn't read Frasier?
I think it's
It
probably
has
in
to
there
be in
somewhere.
That has
I
to be
didn't
one of
read
the
them all.
better spin-offs to a TV
Oh, it's
show.
probably the greatest spinoff of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, him and his brother. Just the whole
Niles.
character between his
Niles.
other dad.
Well, he's a
It's
great
the
comedic
dolly
actor.
tray.
And
They had a
again,
great cast.
and every time I see him, I remember I had dinner next to him at the Hollywood Stars, and that little nymph he brought along. Oh my God, she looked about 15, beautiful blonde. Knockout, and Frasier was his date for the evening.
Kim
Now,
are
I don't-
reminiscing about
I don't see
15-year-old
Frasier.
hot blondes. Brought to you by FarmhousePrintingCo.com. Custom shirts and hats and signs they print. Promotional items, anything you need, business cards. No minimum order, no setup fees. Just get them a picture and they'll put it on a T-shirt for you. All your Kimmer Show T-shirt needs, Holy Crap, it's Sports. And now, with laser engraving for cups, signs, leather goods, whatever you want. That laser engraving's pretty hot, by the way. FarmhousePrintingCo.com, a local company, Eric and the gang down in Sonoya, Georgia.
And I love they've done stuff for me, and I love their stuff. Done stuff for Pete too, and Shannon
yeah.
Burke and the whole crew. Roseanne's number 70. The Wonder Years 63. Chappelle 64. I do not see Frasier.
That has to be on there.
It's
I'm
not in
sorry.
here. Mary Tyler Moore 46.
I think Frasier was better than Cheers.
Taxi 49. Battlestar Galactica 45.
Which one? Which Battlestar?
Battlestar from 2004 to 2009.
That to me is the best science fiction program
Yeah.
ever.
The Shield 40. Honeymooners 41. That should be way up there, too. The America, I mentioned now. And,
With the Milton Berle Show.
My So-Called Life 35. Orange is the New Black 37. Buffy the Vampire 38. I'm telling you, Frasier is not in here.
Supernatural should be on there just because they was on the air for 400 years.
Cheers is 20.
Such a great show.
Star Trek, the original series,
Night
18.
Stalker. How about Night Stalker? Remember that?
Night
$6 million
Stalker's not
man.
on here either. Yep, that was a great series. Twilight Zone number 7.
Kung Fu.
Yeah, I know.
Where's
Sorry.
Kung Fu?
I know. Yeah, Kung Fu. I loved Kung Fu. And he never did enough of the action. It took so long for him to finally do it. And I kept, that's what killed me. They should have had him way more in the thing, but he had to wait till almost the very thing at the end. But that was a great series. What a great series that was.
Who didn't love Kung Fu?
Yeah. Anyway, just for kicks. All right. Now, a couple things. We don't do a lot of crime things, but I got to do a
Voyage
crime
to the bottom
thing.
of the sea with the flying subs. Come on.
What now?
Voyage to the bottom of the sea.
Oh, I know. There were all those Disney series. I mean, my God, think about Spin and Marty. I mean, Mickey Mouse Club. Come on, Mickey Mouse Club's
They
not in the
don't
top
belong.
100
No,
series.
no.
That changed America. The whole families by the millions used to sit around and watch Cubby and Karen and on the floor of the TV watching the Rabbit Ear TV
No,
shows.
Annette was a national treasure.
Lassie was not on there.
The
You
Real
gotta be
McCoys.
kidding me. Real McCoys.
Hee-haw.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Where's Hee-haw?
I didn't see Beverly Hillbillies
How
in
about
there.
Jubilee.
It's not right. A couple of things. This is. I'm glad to see this is
Space,
happening.
1999.
Well, what can I tell you? Twilight Zone, for God's sakes.
Yeah, you bitching.
I did say
Outer Limits.
Outer Limits. Outer Limits. And that was a weird guy too. They used to do that one. Oh God.
Family Affair.
A 19-year-old man has been arrested for murder because he is accused. His name is Kai Bakarich. Accused of selling fentanyl to an 18-year-old girl named Kaylee Boxer, who was home with her parents. They had dinner. They went in to wake her up the next morning, and she was dead. In Forsyth County, the 19-year-old kid sold her the fentanyl, and he's been arrested for murder. Good to see, but again, your dealer is and again, how does an 18-year-old even get fentanyl? And it's just I'm just so out of
There's
the
a
loop on
warning.
this.
that some of the fentanyl now comes in colors.
Yeah,
and
it looks like candy.
Looks like
Yeah.
sweet tarts.
Yeah, it does. And children are, they found it in schools, and I mean, again, it's murder. It's just
More people
cold.
die every day from fentanyl than they do gun violence.
And talk about a freaked out chick. A woman named Dominique Houston last year was, let's see, she rear-ended a car on Roswell Road in 285, fled the scene after hit and run, almost hit somebody as she fled the scene, was fleeing the scene of that hit and run and almost hitting another pedestrian when she ran over a man and his dog in Sandy Springs and killed the dog and the man. The man she killed was 25-year-old Michael Farmer, who was a coach of the Rebels Rugby Club in Roswell, and his dog Bruce, and they were killed because she was avoiding another hit and run. She fled from that. She finally got caught, and she just got sentenced to 20 years to serve at least 10 in prison. But again, hit and run, almost hit a person, still fleeing, and hit and run, a death. I mean, Jesus, just take your punishment. If you rear-end it all because she didn't stop after hitting a car in the bumper. This guy would be alive and his dog today if she had just stopped. Oh, crap, I hit your bumper. Even if you're drunk. Okay, you're drunk, so you're going to get probation. You're going to have to go to driving class every Saturday and pick up garbage for a month, and then your life will go back to normal, and this guy'd be alive. Take responsibility. Don't flee. Just take it. Just do it. Take it. It'll be better if you flee and cover up and stuff. It's always worse. Anyway, I'm sorry, but I just
Sound like an experience here.
I do. I mean, haven't we all? We've all,
I've never fled the scene.
Well, no, I've never fled the scene of a crime. Well, not that many times anyway. There was once or twice where the guy was asking for it, and he got it. This is sorry, and people are in a bad mood lately. You're okay at DeKalb County McDonald's restaurant, Wesley Chapel Road. A guy identified as Perry Webb was having an argument with an employee at the McDonald's on Wesley Chapel Road. The girl employee was in an argument with this guy, Perry Webb, so he allegedly pulled out his gun and started shooting bullets into the ceiling. And then he flees, and of course they caught him.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's at McDonald's, and he gets mad at the girl behind the counter, so he starts shooting off his gun into the ceiling. That's a little awkward. Also, if I were you, I would avoid trying to live at the Villages at Carver along Maury Avenue in southeast Atlanta. Yeah. A 16-year-old boy was shot and killed the other night. He was 16 years old, and this is the same complex where several weeks ago, 17-year-old Ia Marquez Marqueri and 18-year-old Nairirek Oles were both shot and killed at the same apartment complex, the Villages at Carver, along Maury Avenue. Golly, you might want to, I don't know, check into maybe some criminal activities.
I don't think any of our listeners have to worry about that.
I don't think we have to worry about
part of
that too
town.
much. Can I do one weird Dear Abby thing, which I almost even don't want to do? Dear Abby, I have a handyman doing work on my home. I notice that when he uses our bathroom, he's in there a long time while going number 2. My anxiety levels are through the roof. Do I tell him anything? What should I say? And Dear Abby, first of all, the very image of a handyman using your bathroom, the answer is no.
No, sorry, you need to pee. Okay,
You got to go to the local, hardware or go to a grocery store and go to the bathroom near and buy something or whatever. I mean, come on.
No,
you don't use a
there's
guy's
no way.
bathroom when you're doing handyman stuff around the house. So Dear Abby says, may I share a truism? When we got to go, we got to go. If your handyman leaves the bathroom in the same condition when he exits when he goes in there, you have nothing to be anxious about. Yeah, be gracious, and when you need a handyman, there will always be someone willing to help you. I don't think so.
No.
Now, I remember selling a house, and I remember that sometimes the realtors will bring somebody by to look at your house when you really just want to use the bathroom. Which, by the way, is really bad realtor stuff, but they still do it, or they used to.
There's
And
not
they'll
enough
fake
Lysol
it.
to
Yeah.
disinfect.
I don't have
that.
strain. No, I don't want. No, it's bad enough as it is. Atlanta City Council passed an ordinance, or is passing one, I guess, on barking dogs If your dog continuously barks for more than 10 minutes, you can get a $150 fine. It goes to $1,000 for repeat offenses. And it's not just dogs. It also applies to cats that meow, animals that whine, crow, or make other animal sounds, which is special to their species. If it goes on for more than 10 minutes, is it annoying? They'll get a ticket. Atlanta City Council. A bunch of birthdays here in the news here today. Our friend Johnny Mathis, 87 years old. The late Bob Ketcherson was the assistant news director where I worked at the radio when I came here in 1972. And Aubrey Morris was the news director, and I was doing the morning show on the John Moore Show, and I was a morning news guy. And one day, Bob Ketcherson was interviewing. We used to do interviews with the celebrities for use on the morning program. And Bob Ketcherson, with the assistant news director, was asked to do the interview with Johnny Mathis. And he met him at the hotel room, and he said he walked into the hotel room, and there in the hotel room area was Johnny Mathis, totally nude, with a towel around his fanny, and some young guy was wiping cold cream all over him. While he was doing the radio interview. So anyway, Johnny Mathis, happy birthday, old buddy. He's 87 today.
My aunt telling us when we were grown that she had the biggest crush on Johnny Mathis. She's a white girl from Little Rock, Central High, and she had this crush on this black man. And I said to her, at what point in your life did you realize you didn't have a shot?
There's no way. It's wonderful. I used to love his music. I
great
love
voice.
His music, his dancing. But you got a girl in your arms, him singing "Wonderful, Wonderful." I just want to kiss her on the mouth. I mean, come on, you're killing me.
Come on, you could tell.
What?
You could tell
I could tell what?
that he's gay.
Of course he's gay. I mean, who didn't know that?
Who didn't know Liberace was? I mean, come on.
Yeah. I didn't know Perry Mason was gay for a long time.
Yeah, that shot. The Raymond Burr and Rock Hudson kind of was out of the blue.
Yeah. And I don't think Elizabeth Taylor and Doris Day were too happy when Rock Hudson came out being
Doris
gay.
Day was his friend and kept defending him.
Yeah, but they were very disappointed with
it.
him.
Was the blonde chick from Big Valley, Linda Evans, that was not happy.
Yeah. You kept this a secret with these people doing love scenes and stuff. Barry Williams from the Brady Bunch is 68 today. Fran Drescher, 65. Marion Cotillard is 47. She won an Oscar for La Vie en Rose. She was in Contagion, The Dark Knight Rises, and on the history thing with her is it didn't list what I think was her great movie was Dillinger with Johnny Depp.
That wasn't a great movie.
Well, I thought that was a cool movie,
No.
and she looked beautiful in that. I mean, Public Enemies was the name of the movie with Johnny Depp. That was 2009. I've seen her recently, and she definitely doesn't look the same she used to. But I like her. But she back in 2009 in that movie with Public Enemies, she could have had me. The girl who insured her legs for $1 million in Hollywood, Angie Dickinson, is 91 today. Sissy Houston, that's Whitney's mom, is 88. I thought she had died a long time ago. I guess I was wrong. Marilyn McCoo from the Singer People there is 79.
Davis.
What's that?
Billy Davis and Marilyn McCoo.
And Marilyn McCoo. From Balloons Up in the Air. Fifth Dimension. Up your big alley with your beautiful balloons. Whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
That one.
Who sings that?
Yeah, the age of your balloons.
Age of Aquarius.
Up in a balloons. Yeah, the balloon in Aquarius. Sylvia Peterson is 76 with the Chiffons. He's so fine. I used to love this Chiffon.
That's
Sherelle
the one where they
Supreme.
sued poor George Harrison.
Yeah, that's right.
Bitches.
From My Sweet Lord. And didn't they win? I think they won.
Yeah, they won, which was horse crap.
Well, he stole their music.
No, he did.
Crystal Bernard, the little blonde from Wings, is 61
cute.
today. She was a naughty little
Cute
thing.
hair.
Great actor Tony Hale from Arrested Development and Veep. He played Buster on Arrested Development and her aide on Veep. He's a funny comedic actor. 52, Tony Hale. Kierkegaard Culkin, 39. He's the brother, and he was in Succession. He played one of the kids, Roman something or other. Remember during the Atlanta Olympics, Dominique Moceanu, man, I had she was the cutest little thing I ever saw. She was like 4'6", weighed about 60 pounds. God, she was the cutest little thing I ever saw. Won the gold medal at the Atlanta Olympics, and then by the next year, she grew 7 inches And after growing 7 inches in 1 year, she was still only 5'3". In the Olympics, she's 41 years old, Dominique Mosiano. And one more, Monica Bellucci, former Bond girl inspector, and is in the Matrix sequels. Monica Bellucci is 58.
Oh, wow.
Today.
At one point, she was the most beautiful woman in the world.
Italian
She's
woman,
still
beautiful
an
actor.
amazing, beautiful woman.
A handsome woman, no question. 1955, the movie star James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause, and so many others, 24 years old, driving his Porsche, hits another guy, terrible crash, kills him at the age of 24. And Pete Davis yesterday sent me a picture of the Porsche involved in the crash with our NFL Las Vegas lineman players. This is just a crime.
Cleveland.
What?
Cleveland.
Cleveland, whatever.
Miles Garrett.
Miles, wasn't he in Vegas?
No, he's in Cleveland.
But he crashed his car in Vegas, didn't
No,
he? He was
he
in
has
Cleveland?
absolutely nothing to do with Las
Why
Vegas.
did I think he crashed his car in Vegas?
One thing of this story has anything to do
Well,
with
Cleveland will
Las
do it to you. No wonder he crashed. He was sick of Cleveland already.
Vegas. He was going 65 and a 45.
Yeah, he was speeding and lost control.
Which-
they said he wasn't drunk, but how do you lose control in a Porsche
It's
doing
a
only
Porsche.
20 miles over?
It's a rear end Porsche, and if you're on a curve and you think you can take it, you can take almost any curve,
Yeah.
but there is a limit. And with the rear thing, it's very easy to fishtail, and that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, that's what killed the guy in that super Porsche who burned up in the fire for
The friend lost control, and they went into a pole.
the movie guy.
Paul something.
Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Paul Walker from the Chase movies, Fast and Furious movie. What is it? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And of course that Porsche had like 9,000 horsepower, and no one knows how to
yeah,
drive them.
there's
when
no
you drive
way.
that, they have to you have to take a class in how to
Right.
drive it because you'll crash. You can't drive it.
I remember coming after I got mine, and it's a mid-engine, so it's very hard to flip over, even though I've tried.
Yeah.
Coming out of the work one day, I hit it too hard, and I fishtailed all through that intersection. It was fun as hell.
On this day in 1963, 2 Democrats are arrested for the bombing of a black church in Birmingham that killed 4 little girls. The Democrats were members of the same Democrat club that featured Senate leader Robert Byrd as their leader. Yes, the same day, by the way, 1 year later in 1964, U.S. Marshals escort James Meredith onto the University of Mississippi campus, angering the local Democrats and setting off the deadly Democrat riots over integrating of Ole Miss. 1981, Sandra Day O'Connor is sworn in as the first female Supreme Court justice by Chief Warren Burger. Democrats today are so proud that they have handpicked a lawyer based on race and gender who is so stupid or chicken-livered that she can't tell what a woman is today because she's not a biologist. Where's George Costanza when you need him, ladies and gentlemen? 2007, there's sort of an indirect
biologist.
reference. Well, that's you. It's sort of a biologist. 2007, who knew there was a significant Jewish population in India? Well, not a guy named Kapir Kumar Todi. He owns a company that makes bedspreads. One of his collections in India is called New Arrival Zone of India, or NAZI. Yes, and the word NAZI is prominently featured on the bedspread. Oh, and so is the symbol of the swastika, which Kapir says, hey, it's a symbol used in Hinduism.
That's for thousands of
And it
years.
is.
Of course, it's the Nazis twisted it
They
around
twisted
backwards.
it a little, but still, the symbol looks like the swastika, and it's the New Arrival Zone of India. And they said, no, this can't be good. So they had a whole thing of us or whatever.
When we traveled to Tokyo with the Falcons, and they took us all to a Shinto shrine, there on the little things,
Yeah,
there's
swastikas.
swastikas everywhere. And I remember some of the players going, "Oh, the hell are there swastikas here?" And we're like,
Again, the Germans took it in the 30s. You know, it was been around a very long time. In 1846, Dr. William Morton became a local hero after he pulled out a guy's tooth painlessly using ether. I actually pulled a tooth out using the old string on your tooth and a doorknob trick. You ever do that with a loose
Hell
tooth
no.
as a kid?
I'm civilized.
Oh, we used to do that when the tooth was
Go to
getting
the
loose.
dentist.
Let's see. 1966, Albert Speer and Baldur von Schneerach walked out of Spandau prison after 20 years they served as Nazi war criminals. Albert Speer was the Minister of Armaments, and von Schirach was the founder of the Hitler Youth.
The Spear Diaries is an amazing book.
I'll bet.
He had to write it on toilet paper and sneak it out of Spandau
Really?
prison. And they printed it after he got out, I think, or right before he got out. And it's
Now,
fascinating.
was it a come to Jesus thing?
No,
or
no, he
saying
was talking
I'm glad
about-
we did
he-
it to all those Jews?
In fact, they did a miniseries with Rutger Hauer playing him, which was wonderful.
God, I don't remember any of this.
It was basically day by day of how Hitler came to power, how he became involved in the inner circle with Hitler, and the plans that he had for the world after the war. It was
And does he
fascinating.
apologize for it or anything? Or
Oh
is
no,
saying
he
this
felt
is
really
just
bad
what
about it.
was?
He said I was a young man, I was ambitious,
So he
and
regrets it at the
I
end,
got
would
caught
say?
up in it, and I shouldn't have done it. And
Following orders, kinda.
at the end, he was the number one guy
Yeah,
that was pretty
right.
much running
Yeah.
things. And Hitler told him, "You need to blow up all the bridges, you need to blow up all the hospitals, everything." And Speer was the one who went to the generals and says, "Don't do that. Don't blow that up. Don't blow that up.
Wow.
Don't blow that because the Allies are coming in here, the Russians are coming in here, and we'll have to answer for it. Don't do it." So for humanitarian reasons, and he didn't want his ass strung up by on a rope.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating to read. It
Once
really
again,
is.
Pete Davis spoiling the entire ending of the Albert Speer stories, ladies and gentlemen.
The diaries.
Let's see. That was 1966. On the same day in 1938, ironically, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain signs the Munich Agreement, giving Czechoslovakia to Hitler. And he said at the time, I'm not making this up, I believe it is peace for our time. Yeah, what could go wrong? He said the Munich Agreement, ladies and gentlemen, we've ended the chances of war in Europe in 1938. Bum, bum, ba bum. Off they go. Bing,
Churchill's
like
going,
freaking
"Are you out
checkers."
of your mind?"
Neville Chamberlain.
To his credit, though, Churchill writes glowing things about Chamberlain, about his life up to that point.
Yeah.
Well, full of
again,
service
it's
and
just
everything like that.
One lousy mistake in judgment.
he
you know?
made a
I mean,
hellacious
it was
mistake.
just they tried. They said they met with him. People met with him and they said, well, he's obviously But this before they were the swastikas and the stormtroopers. I mean,
they were that.
Yeah, but he kind of talked a good game. And so if you leave him alone, we can deal with him. His theory was, sue for peace, and we can deal with the guy. We know what he's doing, and let him have his little thing, and we'll be able to control.
Which is what we're doing with Iran right now.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Yeah.
And Puttitat wants, the new Puttitat, President Child Molester, wants to go start making more deals with them again. Are you crazy? Anyway, yes, he is. Let's see, two things. I'm almost done. 1927. This is a current topic today. Babe Ruth broke his own home run record when he hit number 60, a record that stood from then in 1927 until 1961 when Roger Maris broke it, and now Aaron Judge has tied it, and he's got, 5-6 games left? I think he'll do it. Somebody will throw him a fat. You gotta throw him. Don't you have to throw him the pitch down the middle, let him hit it out?
I wouldn't.
I would. I think I would. If I if it's
I'd
getting
go my
down to
best fastball and say hit it. If you hit it, you hit it.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't throw him an 80-mile-an-hour batting practice pitch. I'd throw him a fast, but I'd throw it over the plate. I'd throw him strikes, and if he hits a
I'd throw him
strikeout,
strikes.
yeah.
I'd throw him strikes.
But
He's-
that's I would not try to walk. I hate guys who are trying to walk him. I think if if you're trying to win a game, that's one thing. But if you're just walking him because you don't want to be the guy that gives up the hit, that's just being nasty.
Well, the games are in Yankee Stadium. He should hit one.
Yeah,
there.
he'll get one out. I think that's probably why he waited. I think he waited entirely. That was 1927. And then on this day, same day in 1972, notice 27 is the reverse of 72. And I mentioned the irony because Roberto Clemente hit a double against the Mets, giving Pittsburgh a 5-0 win at Three Rivers Stadium. It was Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit and the last one he would ever hit as a baseball player because he died in a plane crash sending supplies for hurricane victims in, was it Puerto Rico or Jamaica? Puerto Rico, I believe. But on the same day that the Babe Ruth broke his own record, Roberto Clemente hit his 3,000th and last hit
Years later.
died as a hero years later. Yeah. Anyway,
Talk about a story, getting it the last thing. That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was walking. It was New Year's Eve, and I was walking from the den into the kitchen, and I heard on the radio that he had died.
Yeah.
And it's like, you talk about a
It was
shock.
New Year's Eve.
It's like hearing Hank Aaron had died.
Yep,
It was
taking,
like, yeah, I mean, boom.
yeah,
They
taking
never found
rescue
his
supplies to victims.
Body. Never found the body.
Yeah, wow, brutal. Anyway, boys, what else is going on here?
Yesterday, I put a Twitter thing up. Because I'm doing this chess thing. Have you heard about the chess cheating scandal?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, there was a documentary or a series was just on recently, HBO or Showtime, about what's it's called? What that was? It had a great name to it. I can't remember what it was, but it was about cheaters in the world of big pro chess.
Okay.
And what were you saying?
No, I'm just.
Well, you're talking about a pro chess thing?
I put a Twitter poll out.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, because one guy is accused of cheating, the young one, and the so-called winner keeps quitting when he plays him. Like the other guy made 2 moves and that guy quits. Okay, what's worse, a cheater or a quitter?
Well, if you know, is he quit because the guy's cheating?
He thinks he is, but there's no proof. In fact, all the
Well, then
experts
you
who have
can't
looked
quit
at
if you
it
don't-
said there's no proof.
Well, then you can't quit. You can't be a
Well,
quitter.
he's quit
if you
twice
think-
now.
Well, then screw him. I mean, if the guy's either he's cheating or he's not, and if if nobody can tell, those guys are pretty freaking smart. I mean, I don't think there's any move in chess that hasn't been. I just saw the Bobby Fischer
Another
story
rabbit
was
hole,
just.
yeah.
I just watched that again. I mean, those guys are pretty good at what they do.
Well, the final poll was 67% said cheaters are worse than quitters.
Oh, I totally agree. But if you're quitting because you think the guy is cheating, but you can't prove it, then you're just I don't know. I don't know what you call you. I don't know what the nickname is, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
They've come out with the official cause of death for Queen Elizabeth II.
I heard this. Tell you again. This is so.
What do you think it is?
Honest to God, I thought for sure she was balancing on one foot on her balcony and fell off because of a brain aneurysm. She smoked too many Lucky Strikes that night, and the blood clot went into her lung. I mean, I can't imagine what might have caused her death. What's the official thing there, Pete?
Old age.
Oh no! She's 96, was it?
She's old age.
Jeez, no kidding.
And finally, Bill has this word of advice.
Yes.
If your house is hit by a dolphin,
Yeah.
do not go out to see if the dolphin is okay. That's how the hurricane tricks you into coming outside.
They did more Sharknado series. Have you seen those
Oh, yeah, I
on
saw
TV?
them last night.
There's
There's
a
more.
whole bunch. I just saw them like 4 of them the other night. Sharks flying through the cars. Oh,
That
my
shark
God.
going up the street in Fort Myers is hysterical.
I didn't see that, but that is
unbelievable.
hysterical.
All right, it's time for Bad Text Theater. Flounder, what are we doing today? Here,
Mercy.
We did the bird ones. Okay, it's a first guy and a second guy. Which one are you?
Let's see. I will be the second guy.
All right, I'll be the first guy. My new thesaurus is terrible.
How bad is it?
It's terrible.
Too bad there isn't another word for thesaurus.
Have you seen
What's
the,
another
the
word for-
cartoon where the T-Rex is coming at some cavemen, and the T-Rex is yelling, plethora, run, scramble, flee. And the caveman goes, run, it's a thesaurus.
It's over, done, forget it. It's over.
Rico.
All right, boys. Any final plans for the weekend? It looks like the weather's going to hold. We got lucky on the hurricane weather.
Watch Braves, Mets, and football.
And Flounder's going to the game tonight.
So
sir.
you know what that means.
Take
if
some
they
video.
lose, Flounder doesn't go to any more games.
No more games for you.
the rest of the season.
And we also want more video of the kitty. Any video of a kitty cat video,
cat
send to me so I can put it on my
Every
my
day
Facebook page.
he gets closer and closer.
It
That
does
cat.
indeed. All right, boys. I'll be going to the stable to take care of Speckleface, who needs resurrecting and rehabbing, and his mommy still has that China kill virus. Oh, and by the way, my earbuds are back in. Everything's the new
thank
ones. I
God.
saw Morgan yesterday, and it's now official. My taste buds definitely are half gone. I still enjoy sugar, salt, chocolate. But if I'm eating cashews, I can taste the salt, but I can't really taste the cashews.
Can you taste the blood every time you bite your cheek and tongue?
That's still happening a little bit, but not too bad. All right, boy, and adios. God bless America. That's what I say. Hoorah, I gotta go. You're killing me. Supper 5.